Lux presents Hollywood. The Lux Radio Theater brings you Irene, Dunne, and Don Ameche in Unfinished Business. Ladies and gentlemen, your producer, Mr. Cecil B. DeMille. Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. The phrase unfinished business can mean a great many things to a great many people. For in the past of every man and every woman, there's some stray tag of adventure still uncompleted. A bit of drama never played to its end, or perhaps a love story only just begun. All that wide human appeal is part of Gregory Le Carver's new universal picture called Unfinished Business. And we're fortunate tonight in having the radio premiere right here in the Lux Radio Theater. That gives us Irene Dunne in the same part she played on the screen, with Don Ameche as our leading man. And off the record, I'll tell you that for months, we've been trying to find a play to fit this potent combination of stars. There have been a lot of stories about the young man from a small town who hunts fame and fortune in the big city. Tonight we have one about a girl with the same intrepid spirit who finds the adventure she's looking for. But along the way, she leaves a scrap of unfinished business. And in that lies the dramatic punch that makes this one of the most talked about pictures of the year. Of course, there's another drama about unfinished business, the one called Woman's Work is Never Done. But I suggest that it's done a whole lot quicker when they have Lux Flakes in the house. No mere man is supposed to be a competent judge of such technical household matters. But a radio producer is supposed to know something about his audience. I know how high your standards are, and I know from your letters that our product meets those standards. Anything must be good that can win the approval of as many women as Lux Flakes. So if you haven't tried it yet, you have some very important unfinished business at the store around the corner. Now the spotlight turns to the center of the stage as the curtain rises on the first act of Unfinished Business, starring Irene Dunne as Nancy and Don Ameche as Tommy. Across the prairie land of the great Middle West, an eastbound flyer streaks through the night. With a flash of its headlight, it roars through the sleeping hamlets, thunders over the slow-moving rivers of Ohio, impatient to end its race with time in the great terminal of New York. But the two gentlemen who occupy drawing room B are interested in another kind of race, a horse race.
What do you say, Steve? You got it all figured out?
It's a cinch. If we don't win the Pimlico Special this year, I'll buy you a new hat and eat it.
Without mustard?
Without mustard. You think I'd come all the way out to this desolate country to buy a horse if I didn't have a hunch about it?
Desolate is right. Look out there.
Yeah. Wonder if anyone has ever discovered it yet.
I just saw a couple of covered wagons go by. Want a drink, Steve?
No, thanks.
Well, there's nothing left to do except talk about women.
Let's browse around, see what we can find.
Okay, come on. I'll take this end of the train, you take the other.
Right. How about a little $50 wager?
On what?
That I can find a better-looking girl than you do.
It's a bet. See you later, Steve.
Good luck, sucker. Oh, I'm so sorry.
My fault. I opened the door too fast.
Not at all.
Excuse me, please. Oh, conductor, which way to the diner?
Second car up, miss.
May I show you? I know right where it is.
It shouldn't be hard to find. It must still be on the train.
I'm not so sure, the way we've been bouncing around for the last couple of hours.
Oh, I imagine we're still on the track.
Say, that's a very witty observation. Oh, hang on, we're going around a curve.
This is the first time I've been on a train that had square wheels.
Oh, no, watch it.
Oh, for heaven.
Now, here, get up, give me your hand.
Oh, wasn't that silly? Falling like a...
I'm awfully sorry. Did you hurt yourself?
No, I'm all right. Only, I'm afraid I did twist my ankle a little.
Oh, that's a shame. You'd better let me have a look at it. My compartment's right down there.
Oh, no,
Now,
no,
come on,
no,
come on, just lean on my arm.
Something silly like this would happen to me.
Now, just sit back and relax. Now, let's see. Does your ankle hurt when I touch it so?
No, but it's kind of embarrassing.
Now, don't talk back to the doctor. You know, you have a very delicate ankle, like a thoroughbred.
What are you, a horse doctor?
No, not exactly, but I know a thoroughbred when I see one.
Look, I've got to go now.
No, please. You're not afraid of me, are you?
Well, I hardly know you.
Tell me something. Do you live in New York?
No, and don't tell me I'll look it. I come from Messina.
Messina?
Yes, you stopped there a couple of hours ago, remember?
Oh, I thought that was just to take on water.
Yeah, water and me.
You don't look like a small-town girl.
Oh, yes, I do. This suit is the crowning glory of Messina's most fashionable dressmaker. The hat is mostly my own idea, and the necklace, consisting of real pearls, cost $1.97 at the Bon Ton Novelty.
Why should you hide such a lovely throat?
You certainly have a line.
But I mean it. You're very charming.
Well, couldn't we just talk? There must be something to talk about.
All right. What's your first name?
Nancy.
My name's Duncan.
What's your first name?
Steve. Nancy, you're the first girl that ever got wise to me.
Oh, go on. What do you do?
How do you do?
No, I said, what do you do?
Oh. You mean for a living? Nothing.
Nothing.
I'm one of those lucky people who doesn't have to work very hard, so I just play around with horses.
Oh, rich, huh?
I guess so. You don't seem very impressed.
Are you laughing at me?
No, I'm laughing at myself. You certainly caught on to me in a hurry.
Well, the things you said weren't unpleasant, even if you didn't mean them.
Well, tell me something about yourself.
Oh, there's nothing much to tell. I'm just a small-town girl. I did a little singing back in Messina, choir work and that sort of thing, and now I'm on my way to New York. Maybe I'll find a career, and maybe I won't. Of course, in Messina, they think I'm going to set the world on fire, but I don't suppose New York will miss me much one way or the other if I'm not a success. Listen, isn't that glorious? Oh, I think that's the most romantic sound in the world. I've always wanted to be on a train at night, roaring along with the lights going by, wondering about the people who live in the houses that skim past. The sound of the train whistle ringing in my ears. It does something to me. I don't know what it is. It just does something to me. What? Why do you look at me like that? Please don't look at me that way.
You are very charming, Nancy.
Oh, no, you mustn't say that.
You're lovely. Lovely.
Oh, no, please, please. Steve!
Oh, good morning, Nancy. Well, what do you think of New York?
I couldn't see much of it coming in. I was afraid I'd missed you.
You don't suppose I'd leave without seeing you?
Well, I'd have died if you had.
Look, Nancy, those fellows out there on the platform, they're reporters. They're very curious.
I understand.
Where can I call you later?
I'll be at the Garfield Hotel for Women.
I'll give you a ring.
You won't forget.
What do you think?
I love you, Steve. Yes, come in.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
What goes on?
Well, I'm trying to learn this aria.
Well, how about widening your area and going on a blind date with me?
No, thanks. I'm just a career woman.
Career woman? You've been locked up in the Garfield prison for women for the last 3 weeks. You're not going to spend the rest of your life sitting by that telephone.
Well, I may get an audition, and I want to be ready.
Look, honey, who are you kidding? I know what you're waiting for. Look at those newspaper clippings you're always saving.
What do you know about?
Well, I'm not blind. Stephen Duncan honored at Yacht Club ball. Stephen Duncan moves his stable to Saratoga. Honey, if you're carrying a torch for that wolf, the line forms on the right. Why don't you call him up and get it over with?
If you must know, I have called him several times.
And? He
wasn't in.
Oh, I'm sorry, honey. Gee, I didn't know you had it that bad.
I'll get over it.
Oh, look, darling, he isn't worth thinking about. You've just got to shake out of it. You're an attractive girl. Why, you could draw a number out of a hat and get a much nicer guy than Steve Duncan. Do you hear?
I hear.
Well, that's more like it. And listen, you're going places with that voice of yours, too.
Yeah, I've been standing right in one spot so far.
I don't care. There are lots of places for your type of voice, plenty of places.
For she's a jolly good fellow, for she's a jolly good fellow. Mrs. Schultz is a jolly good fellow. Happy birthday and many returns. And the message is signed Edna Gittins. You're welcome.
Here, Nancy. Another batch of singing telegrams.
Phew, another batch. I'd better take time out and get my breath.
The top one is for Billy Ross.
Billy Roth, who's he?
The famous nightclub owner. This is probably the only chance you'll ever get to sing for him, so do your darndest.
Say, thanks, Mrs. Hat. A nightclub owner, huh?
Hello?
Hello. Sterling 85324.
Speaking.
Mr. Billy Ross.
Speaking also.
Mr. Ross, I have a singing wire for you. Just a moment, please.
Go ahead, go ahead.
For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow. Billy Ross is a jolly good fellow. Happy birthday and many returns. Sign the gang.
Say, that's very nice. You have a very good voice.
Oh, thank you.
Are you fat?
No, I'm not.
Well, be at the Cafe Kohinoor at 10 tomorrow morning. I can use a voice like yours.
The Cafe Corner. I'll be there. Thanks.
Bye.
Oh, Mrs. Hatch, I'm going to sing for him.
What?
I'm going to sing for Billy Ross. I'm going to sing at the Cafe Corner. This is the Cafe Corner, Sterling 85234. Good evening. I'll connect you. This is the Cafe Corner, Sterling 85234. Yes, just a moment, please.
Fine, Nancy. You're doing fine.
But Mr.
Another
Ross...
few days and you'll have it down pat. It's very tricky, I know, but I'm sure that
Mr. Ross, I have a much better voice than this. When I took this job, I
May
thought
I have a number, please?
Why, of course, madam. Take care of the lady, Nancy.
Normandy 61043, please.
Booth 4, I'll connect you.
Thank you.
This is the Cafe Corner, Sterling 85234.
Hark, hark, the lark. Oh, that's very pretty, very, very pretty.
Do you wish to make a call, sir?
Crenshaw 90130, into which booth do I go?
Booth 2, please.
I shall go and make my speech. I think you are just a peach.
Oh, there you are.
Hello, Billy. Greetings.
Can I speak to you a little privately?
Certainly. Wait just a minute, will you? Miss,
Yes, sir?
cancel my number. Don't put it through. You're a good number yourself. Woo-woo.
This is the Cafe Corner, Sterling 85234.
Well, Billy, what's in your mind?
Mr. Duncan, your brother's here.
Oh, no, not dear old Steve, whom I despise to the depths of my soul. And what does Mr. Steve Duncan wish?
Well, he was asking me about your drinking.
Ah, where is he?
And right inside. He wants to see you, Mr. Duncan.
Well, evening, Stephen.
Hello, Tommy.
Hello, Sheila.
How are you, Tommy?
You want to see me, Stephen?
Pull up a chair. I want to talk to you, Tommy.
Yeah, I know. I drink too much. People are beginning to talk. So-and-so and so-and-so. This is one of a series of lectures, Sheila.
After all, Tommy, he's your brother.
Yeah. You know, an older brother's like a locomotive. If you took it off the train, you wouldn't have any head-on collisions.
Who's this new number you've been running around with, Tommy?
That is none of your business.
You're just out of one breach of promise. You're sticking your neck out for another.
I want you to listen to this, Sheila. It's going to be very enlightening. Personally, I'm going to have a nap.
Nancy, I want you for a minute.
What is it, Mr. Ross? Another birthday?
Yes, now here's the cake. It's that fellow over there, Mr. Stephen Duncan.
Stephen?
That's it. Just say happy birthday, Stephen. Got it?
Yes, I've got it.
Well, hurry up. Hurry up, Nancy.
You'd better cut it out. I'm telling you.
And that's that. Are you all finished, Steve?
Yes, I've finished.
Now, do you want me to tell you something? I don't like you.
Excuse me.
Oh, look, Steve, it's a cake for you.
Oh,
Hello.
hello.
Happy birthday, Stephen.
Thank you. It's very nice of you.
Steve, come over and join the party and bring your cake.
Coming. Come on, Sheila.
Come with us, Tommy.
No, thanks. I'm very comfortable right here.
Well, Steve, wait. What's the rush?
Steve.
So what's the matter? Are you crying?
No. What would I be crying about?
Hey, wait a minute. Wait.
Hello. Just a moment. I'm trying to get your number.
Hey, look. Did that dopey brother of mine say something on the line?
Please go away.
I'll be glad to help you dry those tears.
I'll dry my own tears. This is a Cafe Corn.
I don't blame you. That routine drive anyone nuts. Let me have those earphones.
No, I'm all right.
Go on, do as you're told. Go over in the corner and have a good cry. I'll handle this thing.
Say, how about that number?
You just name it, brother, and you got it.
I've been trying to get it for 15 minutes.
No extra charge for that. Hello? Why didn't somebody say something? Swab's Fish Market. Could I sell you herring? What was that number, Bunny?
Bryant 77100.
Hey, that's a pretty hard number. You couldn't give me an easier one, could you? I'm kind of new at this.
Hey, what is this, a gag?
Hello, it's the aquarium. April Fool.
I'm all right now. Come on, let me take the board.
And start in with that cafe corner gag. Now, come on. You're getting out of here.
No, I can't.
You need some fresh air. Go on, get your hat.
But look.
I'll fix it with the boss. We're going for a ride in the park. This is the cafe corner. Nobody comes here anymore. Wonderful way to see the park, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
I do this all the time. I rode around one of these old cabs for 2 days once. You don't seem very happy.
I don't feel very high-spirited.
Well, you feel better after you get used to the fresh air. Say, what did that brother of mine say to you that made you cry?
It wasn't what he said. I guess it was the way he said it.
Now, look, don't hold back just because he's related to me. He's just one of the tricks nature plays on the human race.
You shouldn't talk that way about your own brother.
You've never been a younger brother, so you wouldn't understand. All my life, I've been taking second place. Second-hand roller skates, second-hand bicycles, second-hand cars, second-hand polo ponies that couldn't even stand up.
How you must have suffered.
Say, whose side are you on, anyway?
Tell me, who was out with him tonight?
With whom?
Your brother.
Oh, that poor, unfortunate girl is his fiancée.
Is she nice?
Much too nice for him.
Does he love her?
As much as he can love anybody.
They'll probably be married soon.
Yeah, too soon for her sake. I think it's next week. Why are you so interested?
Just curiosity.
Well, if you'd like to go to the wedding, I have an invitation I'm not going to use.
You're joking.
That's one night I'm going to get beautifully swacked.
I hear you drink more than is good for you.
Yeah, it's an escape.
You'll end up by ruining your health.
Health is like money. It's no good unless you spend it.
What are you running away from?
Life.
I don't see how drink helps you avoid life.
Are you being naive?
No, I'd like to know.
How would you like to go out in the town some night and get some learning?
I like it. I like it.
Wonderful. I'll tell you what. Let's make it the night my brother gets married. That'll give me something to do, huh?
Right.
Right here, sir. Sorry we haven't got a better table, Mr. Duncan.
No, that's all right. I'll probably be under it before the evening's over. What would you like to drink, Nancy?
Whatever you have.
Well, let's see. A couple of whiz booms, Joe.
Yes, sir.
What are they?
Well, you hear the whiz, but you don't feel the boom.
Sounds delightful.
Say, what are those things you're wearing?
Just a corsage. Orange blossoms.
Well, it isn't your wedding tonight.
No, but I like to get into the spirit of things. What time are they being married?
The poor girl starts the last mile around 8.
What time is it now?
Let's see. She's still got a half hour of life.
Oh.
What's the trouble?
Those train whistles. Can't stand them.
Oh. Joe, tell them to stop blowing those whistles, will you?
I'm sorry, sir, but those are from the trains down below.
I know that, but have them stopped anyway.
Yes, sir. Your cocktail, sir.
Funny-looking cocktail. Looks like milk.
It is. Milk with authority.
Ooh.
What's the matter? Did you like it?
Oh, no. The man who invented it must have hated his childhood.
Well, here's to our friend, the cow.
Here's to a short life and a milky one.
Right. Joe, keep them coming, will you?
Whiz Boom. Got a good name.
Yeah. Would you like another one?
No. What time is it now?
Let's see. She's still got 2 minutes. Say, tell me, have you ever been married?
No, I've never had time.
Oh. Have you ever thought about it?
Yes, I have.
You know, it's kind of a shame to waste those orange blossoms. Why don't you marry me? Seems to be in the air.
Don't talk nonsense.
Oh, well, do you want to be an old maid?
No, I don't want to be an old maid. I want excitement. I want to go places and do things, have fun. I want to play, do a lot of crazy things I've never done before.
Oh, well, you can do that if you're married.
But I don't love you.
Well, do married people have to be in love?
That's what I've always been taught.
Where are you from?
Messina, Ohio.
Oh, Indian country. Well, let's drink to my poor sister-in-law, hmm?
Here's to forgetfulness.
Right. Say, you know something? I know a fellow who's got a plane that'll fly us to South Carolina.
What would we do in South Carolina? What time is it now?
8. Straight up.
8. Here's to your brother's happiness.
Never mind about him. Say, do you think you might change your mind about me?
She'd just be walking down the aisle now.
Well, how about it?
What?
South Carolina.
I knew a girl who went to school in South Carolina once.
Well, I thought you said you came from Ohio.
I didn't say I didn't.
Well, who did?
Well, you said something about South Carolina.
I asked you where you came from, didn't I?
Yes, I said I came from Ohio.
Who is it? Who is it?
It's me, Elmer.
Oh. Get my bath ready, will you, Elmer?
Yes, sir. Where are you?
I'm under the bed.
What are you doing under the bed?
Say, Elmer, have they gone?
Who?
Oh, they wanted to play, and I had to hide.
Who wanted to play?
The Purple Men.
Oh, you've been seeing them things again.
Oh, if that bed wasn't full of them last night, I'm an Easter lily.
But you look more like a drooping petunia.
Now, look, Elmer, you're only my butler. Now, don't take any liberties. Petunia requires water. Now, get me some, will you?
Okay.
Any calls this morning?
No, but them newspaper guys is downstairs.
What newspaper guys?
Oh, the regular bunch.
Well, what do they want?
They want to take pictures of you and the bride.
Well, don't let them in.
I didn't.
What bride?
Well, I imagine she's yours. Anyhow, she's in the next room having breakfast.
Now, see here, Elmer. I don't mind a reasonable amount of informality on your part. But if you choose to take advantage of my weakened condition, I'm afraid that this beautiful friendship is at an end. Now, what was that about a bride?
Well, you might try rapping on the door. Maybe she went away with them Purple Men.
If you're joking, I flatly refuse to give you a recommendation.
Knock on the door.
Who is it?
Oh.
I told you.
Say, Elmer, what do you call those things that fizz, huh?
I'll mix one up for you.
Yeah, better make it a double, huh?
Good morning.
Oh. It's you, huh?
Who did you think it was? Did you sleep well?
As a matter of fact, I'm just coming to. Huh?
You seem terribly nervous.
Well, that's not unusual with me.
I'm a little scared myself, but then, see, I've never been up in a plane before. Maybe that's what did it.
Were you up in a plane?
Or maybe it was the milk.
Oh, yes, milk can do it, yeah. What were you saying about a plane?
Don't tell me you're vague about it, too. Imagine flying to South Carolina and back all in one night.
Yeah. It's a great day and age, isn't it?
Anyhow, here we are, married.
Oh. Yeah, here we are.
Well, you wanted it.
Didn't you?
Oh, I'm here.
Well, let me be one of the few to congratulate you.
You're a very lucky man.
Here's your fizz.
Thanks, Elmer.
Oh, don't tell me that's one of those things.
No, this is one of those things that chases those other things away. Elmer, you might mix one for Mrs. Duncan. This, by the way, is Elmer.
Yes, he served my breakfast.
She ate eggs.
You ate eggs?
I always eat eggs in Messina.
Is that a new way of cooking them?
No, that's where I come from.
Oh, of course. Remember that, Elmer, will you?
Remember what?
Mrs. Duncan likes eggs for breakfast.
I'll try.
Of course, we could have it annulled. But you said you believed in doing things impulsively.
Well, if I said it, I meant it.
Don't you remember saying it?
Yes, of course I do, yeah.
I wonder if many marriages start off like this.
Well, don't ask me. I'm a stranger here myself.
You suppose his marriage will be like this?
Whose?
You know, your brother's marriage.
What's he got to do with it?
Nothing.
Your fizz, madam.
Thanks. Well, here's to a short life and a merry one. You know? This is going to be fun.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Mr. DeMille brings you Act Two of Unfinished Business, starring Irene Dunne and Don Ameche, in just a moment. Meanwhile, I bring you news that every woman will want to hear, the latest on the stocking situation. Oh, Sally, you have some questions there. Will you read them? The answers I'll give you are based on the latest information from leaders in the hosiery field.
How long will we be able to get silk stockings?
In fair quantities, at least through this year.
How much nylon will there be next year?
Nylon production will be stepped up as rapidly as possible. Nylon accounts for more than 18% of this year's finer stocking volume. Next year, the supply will be increased. And besides that, it will go further because nylon will be combined with other fibers. For example, we may have stockings with cotton or rayon tops and feet and nylon legs.
What other kinds of stockings will there be?
Well, whatever they are, they'll be lovely. For American inventors and manufacturers are the most ingenious in the world. Already we have attractive lisle and cotton mesh stockings. New twists and finishes are being developed in rayon, and there may be brand new fibers. It takes time to develop them, of course, so it pays to be careful of the stockings you have.
Will the new stockings bring new washing problems?
No, because whatever they're made of, they'll be sheer and delicate. They'll need gentle care, and there's no gentler care than Lux. That's what experts say. Over 90% of the makers of all types of stockings, silk, nylon, rayon, wool, cotton, recommend Lux Flakes.
Do all stockings have elasticity?
Well, all of them must have some elasticity in order to give with the movements of your leg. And that's an important reason for using new Quick Lux Flakes. Lux Care saves elasticity. Then stockings are less likely to go into runs or holes. To sum up, there's plenty of hope in the stocking picture. But meantime, it pays to give good care to every pair in your stocking wardrobe. Lux them after every wearing, so perspiration doesn't weaken the fibers. Never rub with cake soap, and never, of course, use harsh soaps. Just squeeze the gentle Lux suds through and then rinse. It's more important than ever now to stick to this safe care. We pause now for station identification. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. Act Two of Unfinished Business, starring Irene Dunne as Nancy and Don Ameche as Tommy. Nancy's marriage to Tom has turned into a dizzy merry-go-round of New York's hotspots, where the lucky brass ring is forgetfulness. As yet, Nancy hasn't caught that ring. The memory of Steve Duncan is still fresh in her mind, but she's not giving up. Nancy's on the merry-go-round, and she's going to stay there.
Tommy, is that you?
Hello, darling. Sorry I'm late.
I thought you were upstairs getting dressed.
No, get stuck at the lawyer's. Say, what are those things, my slippers? Don't tell me we're going to spend an evening at home.
No, that's Elmer's idea. He's tired.
Elmer, have you been complaining?
Why should I complain? I've had 2 wonderful hours of sleep every night for the past 2 weeks.
Well, you're practically a Rip Van Winkle.
Shall I get the car out?
I don't know. Where are we going tonight?
I've reserved a table at the 68 Club.
Get the car out.
Okay.
Better get dressed, Tommy.
Look, would it be too disastrous if we sat around and relaxed just one night a week?
I've spent most of my life sitting around. Now I want to make up for it.
Yeah, well, you don't have to do it all at once, you know.
Well, it's your own fault. You said you'd teach me how to live, and I'm going to learn if it kills me.
Well, learning how to live is one thing, but we didn't enter into a suicide pact.
Don't tell me we're having our first quarrel.
I don't see where you get any fun out of those night spots. Half the time, you don't even remember where you've been.
Well, that's part of the fun, not having to remember.
Well, I'm glad you're getting rid of a lot of inhibitions. Throwing breadsticks at head waiters and that sort of thing. But you ought to let your real self come through occasionally.
Perhaps I'm not just everything you visualize.
Piano needs tuning.
Did you hear me?
What?
Maybe this marriage isn't turning out the way you wanted it to.
Well, it's turning out the way you wanted it.
That's not answering my question. For heaven's sake, stop playing that tune, will you?
Why, what's wrong with it?
It reminds me of Messina.
My grandmother used to sing this tune. She didn't come from Messina.
Oh, tell me you're not yourself tonight. What's bothering you?
You really want me to tell you?
Of course.
All right, here it is. There was a little boy that met a little girl. They both liked to play. They played and they played. Had oodles of fun. And then the little boy fell in love.
With a little girl?
With a little girl.
But she doesn't want to be in love. She doesn't want him to be in love either.
Why not?
Because love can't be trusted. Look, we're having a good time, Tommy. Why can't we leave things just as they are?
Okay.
I don't want you to think I didn't like what you just said.
That I love you?
Naturally, it's flattering to hear things like that. But, oh, here, if you're going to play that, play it right.
Why? What's the matter with it?
It goes like this. Da, 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 la, la, la.
Well, that's great. Go on, go on.
No, go get dressed.
If you go through it just once, I'll get dressed.
Well, all right. It may not be as good as your grandmother, but I'll try it. How does it go now?
I wandered today to the hill, Maggie.
Yes, and what's next?
To watch the scene below.
I got it.
All right, go ahead.
I wandered today to the hill, Maggie, to watch the scene below. The creek and the creaking old mill, Maggie, where we used to long ago. The old grove is gone from the hill, Maggie, where first the daisy sprung. The creaking old mill is still, Maggie, since you and I were young.
Thanks a lot, Nancy. I'll go get dressed.
Car's waiting. Mrs. Duncan, I said the car's out front whenever you're ready.
We won't be needing the car tonight, Elmer. This is the first breakfast I've ever seen you eat. Maybe my cooking isn't so bad after all.
You know, you astonish me. In fact, I astonish myself. Imagine me facing an egg at this hour of the morning. So
Well-
tell me, are these eggs Messina?
An egg's an egg.
You know, I kind of think I'll eat here often. There's much better food than you get in any of those nightclubs.
Oh, Tommy, don't mention nightclubs. After some of my exhibitions, I'm still blushing.
Oh, no. If you've got some inhibition in your system that's bothering you, get rid of it. That's my theory. Say, did I ever tell you about my obsession?
No, didn't know you had one.
Oh, yes. When I was a baby, a black cat crawled into my crib and sat on my chest. Scared the living daylights out of me. For years, I used to wake up in the night and see cat eyes looking at me. But I got rid of the thing.
How?
Well, my grandmother filled the house with black cats. Every place I looked, there was a cat. Upstairs, downstairs, in my bed, under my bed. Lady, I got so I could meow right in the cat's face and not even bat an eye.
Doesn't it ever come back on you?
Come here. I want to show you something. This may sound funny to some people, but it's not as funny as you may believe. Whenever I start to shudder at the thought of a black cat, I go right over here to this little cabinet, and there we are. You see?
What's that?
It's a black cat. Pretty?
Oh, I always knew you were a little boy playing with toys. You ought to be ashamed.
Oh, look. Doesn't bother me a bit. Walk around it, step over it. Like a meow right in its face. Meow.
But that's not a live cat.
Well, that doesn't make any difference. It's all in the mind.
What happens if you haven't got a mind?
Well, there's lots of people get along without one. By the way, where would you like to go tonight?
Well, now that we've found a home, why not live in it?
Oh, you mean you want to stay home 2 nights in a row?
Uh-huh. And 3 and 4 and 5 nights.
Say, you know what I was thinking?
No, what?
Would it be asking too much to have you meet a few of my relatives?
Here?
Mm-hmm. I can invite some friends, too.
We got any friends?
I'll have you know I associate with a very undistinguished group of people.
Would you invite your brother, too?
No. My brother's out.
Maybe you ought to invite him.
I don't want him around.
Well, after all, he's just a black cat.
Yeah. That's right. He's just a black cat. Nancy, dressed yet?
In a minute.
Radio's blasting out there. That means some of our guests have arrived.
Oh, I'm a fine hostess.
Yeah, you're a gorgeous hostess. And in honor of this great occasion, I've just decided something. Tonight, I am not going to get plastered.
Oh, Tommy, marvelous.
Come in.
Excuse me.
What's on your mind, Elmer?
I thought I ought to tell you that the barflies are beginning to gather.
Say, Elmer, come on in. Close the door, will you? Now, look, Elmer. I know this is going to be a strain on you, but let's see if tonight you can't be just a little bit formal,
This is my best bib and tucker.
Oh, well, that's fine. And you might also attempt to act like a butler.
Very good, sir.
Oh, that is infinitely better.
Do you like this dress, Elmer?
Well, it ain't as goofy looking as some of the others, ma'am.
Say, that's pretty formal. You got that ma'am in. You ready, Nancy?
Ready.
Let's go. Hiya. Hello, Ann. Evening, Tony.
Tommy, is this the precious flower? Hiya.
Nancy, my cousin Nell.
How do you do? Hey, you're better looking than I thought you'd be. Hiya, Nancy.
Don't worry about Nell. She spent most of her life around horses.
I like some people, too.
Hello, Tommy.
Oh, the guest of honor. Nancy, this is Steve, my brother.
Yes, we've met before. How do you do, Mr. Duncan?
How do you do?
Good night. Good night, Nell.
Night, dear. Thanks.
Good night, Mr. Duncan.
I'm not leaving yet.
Oh,
You've got a very nice place here.
thank you.
I imagine the view from the terrace is very pretty.
May I show it to you?
Please.
There you are.
Very nice. The little girl from Messina has come a long way, hasn't she?
Messina's not very far.
It's a long trip for a lady with a sprained ankle.
You do remember me.
Vaguely.
You gave a fine imitation of someone who didn't remember.
Have you abandoned your career?
Marriage is a career.
Especially if it's a lucrative marriage.
Well, you have to marry a person for something. Money's something.
Well, some people marry for love.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
How nice.
I think I ought to warn you. Tommy's only good for about one more settlement.
One's all I need.
I see. You know, your innocence had me completely taken in. For a time, I was even stupid enough to believe that you might interpret a flirtation as something more serious.
Is that why you pretended to forget?
It's much less cruel.
That's the black cat theory.
I don't know that one.
If you face a little fact today, it can never become a black cat tomorrow.
How many drinks have you had?
Oh, I didn't think you'd understand.
I don't.
You're my black cat. I can face you now, and I'm not afraid. I can even kiss you. Goodbye, Steve. Steve. Oh, Steve.
Well, hello.
Oh, Tommy.
Oh, this is very pretty. But I didn't realize you knew each other that well.
Tommy.
I think you're making a mistake.
I'm always making mistakes. Elmer, bring me a highball, will you?
I wish you wouldn't.
You see? She has a maternal side, too. You may not have run into that yet.
Now, listen, this is my fault.
Now, there is a gallant fellow. I even get second-hand explanations. Second-hand baby shoes, second-hand polo ponies, everything second-hand. And now I find myself gifted with a second-hand...
You ought to have your block knocked off.
You're the one that's going to get his block knocked off.
All right. Nancy, would you leave us alone for a few minutes?
I want to hear all Tommy has to say.
You don't feel that I'm being unfair, do you?
I have it coming to me.
Oh, now there is the kind of wife to have. She's all that any man could ask for. All that a couple of men could ask for. She's beautiful. She's clever. She doesn't tell lies. Why, she can even cook eggs Messina.
Is that all you have to say to me, Tommy?
It's what you have to say that's important.
I haven't anything to say. Except... I haven't anything to say.
Have a good cry.
Well, when do the fireworks start?
Just can't wait for it, can you? Well, first, I've got a couple of things I'd like to tell you.
You don't mind if I make myself comfortable?
Not at all. Sit down. Please do sit down.
Here's your highball.
Elmer, bring Romeo a highball, too. I don't want to take any unfair advantage. And get me another one while you're at it. Keep them coming, will you?
Now,
Go on.
Okay.
You know, Steve, I haven't made up my mind what I'll do with you yet. But I kind of think I'll have you stuffed and mounted. Then I'm going to hang you over the mantel, so I'll always have a reminder of my very deep affection for you.
How many drinks do you think you'll need before you start knocking my block off?
Knocking your block off has been my ambition for years. I just want to gloat over you a little while, that's all. Elmer, where's that drink?
Glow over.
Come on, now, wake up. Come on, now. Come on.
Look
Come
out.
Come on. It's 4 o'clock. You feeling all right?
Elmer. Did I knock him out?
No, you knocked yourself out first.
What did he do? Did he give me a Mickey?
No, but you're going to have a headache.
Oh, I feel all right.
You look fine.
Where's the body, huh?
Body's gone. He left when you passed out.
Oh, afraid, huh?
Yeah, he must have been.
Send my wife here, will you?
She's gone, too.
Gone? Where'd she go?
I don't know. You better let me put you to bed.
Oh, no, I'm all right.
Yeah, you look great.
All right. Let her go. Let them both
Come
go.
on now, come on.
Let 'em-
Come on.
It's no good. It's no good.
Mr. DeMille and our stars, Irene, Dunne, and Don Ameche, will be back shortly for Act 3 of Unfinished Business. There's a lot of excitement in Patty and Ellen's tiny apartment tonight. Bill James, one of Patty's current heartthrobs, is home on leave from training camp. They've just finished dinner.
Oh, Patty, if I'd known you could cook like that.
Just like the book says, about the way to a man's heart. Well, I hate to tell you, Bill, but Ellen's the chef tonight. I'm just chief cleaner-up and dishwasher.
Say, I'm the best little bubble dancer in this man's army, and have I had plenty of practice. Come on, girls, on convoy to the kitchen.
Why, Bill!
No, Bill James hasn't lost his mind, nor is he taken to cavorting around with a balloon. Bubble dancing is our new Army's term for dishwashing, and a very descriptive one it is, too, when you think of the rich, bubbly suds you get from Lux Flakes. Why, with new Quick Lux to do the work for you, kitchen policing's no trouble at all. You see, you get faster suds with Lux, and more suds, ounce for ounce, even in hard water, than with any of 10 other popular soaps tested. And best of all, new Quick Lux saves you from rough, red dishpan hands, a problem that doesn't worry the Army, but means a lot to Mrs. American housewife. So, ladies, no more dishwashing. It's really bubble dancing when you use Lux Flakes. Get a thrifty big box from your grocer tomorrow morning and keep it handy in your kitchen. New Quick Lux comes in the same familiar package, costs you no more, and one big box will do dishes for about 45 meals. Now, our producer, Mr. DeMille. The curtain rises on the third act of Unfinished Business. When Nancy left Tom, she seemed to vanish into thin air, lost in the crowds and turmoil of New York. Now, more than a year later, Tom has found her again, singing in the chorus of the opera. She's just coming out of the stage door as Tom steps to her side, a dim figure in the whirling snow.
Hello, Nancy.
Oh. Hello.
I hope I didn't frighten you.
Well, it is a bit of a shock.
I happened to be at the opera tonight, and I saw you from the box.
You must have good eyes. I'm behind the scenery most of the time.
Which way are you going?
This way.
You mind if I walk along?
No.
I didn't know you'd taken up your career again.
Oh, you'd hardly call it a career.
Well, I guess it's all right if it makes you happy. You're happy, aren't you?
I don't know. I've been too busy to give it much thought.
Well, I've been doing a lot of thinking this past year.
Have you?
Yeah. The Army has a way of toughening the muscles and softening up the pride.
The Army?
Oh, haven't you heard? There's a lot of us in it these days.
Well, I can't quite picture you. Anyway, you mustn't allow your pride to suffer.
You aren't giving me much of an opportunity to say some of the things I'd like to say.
Well, I thought you said about everything the last time I saw you.
I don't suppose you could ever forgive me, could you? You know, I was pretty much hurt at the time.
Well, maybe you had a right to be.
I didn't have any right to be crude.
Well, anyway, that's past history, and this is where I get my subway.
Well, my car is right here if you'll let me drive you where you're going.
No, thanks. Don't want to get used to luxury.
Well, do you mind if I ride with you on the subway?
Do you want to?
I'd like to.
Come on.
This is a kind of tough neighborhood.
Oh, you get used to it after a while. Here's the house.
Why do you live way down here?
It suits my income.
Why don't you live on my income?
I prefer to live on mine.
Can I come in?
Well, I guess we can stand in the hall. It's warm anyway.
I thought maybe we could go someplace and sit down.
No, we hadn't better. Visitors aren't allowed upstairs after 10.
Well, how about husbands? Or am I?
That's up to you.
I tried to find you for a whole year.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, as a matter of fact, I wrote you several letters.
I never got them.
I never sent them.
Why?
Well, I wasn't sure of the things I wrote.
Tell me, is that other thing all over?
Well, that was one of the things I wasn't sure about.
Well, are you sure now? Are you through with him?
Tommy, do you care anything about me?
Yes, I always will.
Then will you try to understand what I'm going to say?
That all depends.
Look, Tommy, everything that's ever happened to me has been my fault. You understand that?
I'm willing to understand anything. I'm no top sergeant. I've outgrown some of my childish notions. I haven't had a drink for a year.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But a fellow's got to have something to go on. If that other thing is all over, why don't you tell me? You said coming down here that you hadn't seen him since that night.
That's true, but...
Well?
Tommy, I lied to you once before, and I won't do it again. Our whole marriage was based on a lie. That might have been all right, except that you fell in love with me. At least I thought so.
I did.
And I became very fond of you. I was the one who didn't play fair because when I married you, I was in love with someone else.
I don't care about then. I want to know about now. Are you in love with that guy?
No, I'm not. Look, please try to understand. In the lives of all women, there's some unfinished business. There's nothing you can do about it. It's always there, a part of you. But it doesn't mean that another love can't be greater in a different way.
Oh. Is that where I make my entrance?
Oh, Tommy.
The point is now clear. Nancy loves my brother, Tommy loves Nancy, but nobody loves Tommy.
Except Nancy.
But in a different way.
Well, I didn't have anything to do with love or its distribution. There are a lot of women like me, Tommy. Good women, faithful wives. But they're not foolish enough to say the things I'm saying.
Look, why don't you sue me and get a handsome settlement? Why hang on to something you don't want?
But you are something I want.
No, thanks. I can do without specters standing behind me. How can you be married to one man and dreaming about another? What kind of a woman are you?
I'm not being a woman. I'm being honest.
Well, why can't you be both?
I'm trying to be.
All right. Maybe you'd better run along upstairs. Maybe there's somebody up there waiting for you.
Tommy, please.
Is there? I get it. There's probably somebody up there you don't want me to see. Would his name be Duncan?
Tommy.
Sure. I might have known. Good night.
I can't get any more clothes in this grip, Nancy.
Never mind, Sarah. There's plenty of room in the other one. Oh, Sarah, I still owe you something on last month's rent.
Ah, what's rent? What I'd like is to see you stay here, rent or no rent. I can't stand to see you go.
Oh, please, Sarah, I feel low enough as it is.
That husband of yours. I'd like to take a knife and cut him in little pieces.
That's probably the man for the trunk.
I'll answer.
Is Mrs. Duncan here?
Who are you?
My name is Duncan also.
Ah, you're that husband. For 2 cents, I'd push all the way down them
Sarah,
stairs.
it's all right. He's not my husband. Come in, Stephen.
Oh, thanks.
Sarah, would you leave us alone? I'll call you.
I'll be upstairs.
Looks like you're going on a journey.
It's the same one, only back the other way.
Oh? Leaving any memories behind?
Isn't that where memories are usually left?
I'm sorry that some of them are unpleasant ones.
I see. You've been talking to Tommy.
I saw him a few minutes ago. He's leaving for camp tonight. Nancy, if you have any illusions about me, I'd like to dispel them.
My illusions are my own.
You may be foolish enough to wreck your own life, but you have no right to wreck Tommy's.
I'm glad you're capable of some kind of love, even if it's only brotherly.
So far as I'm concerned, you're just a girl I met on a train.
Yes, I've known that for some time.
Am I standing between you and Tommy?
No.
Why don't you go back to him?
I wanted to.
Why didn't you?
Steve, would you mind leaving? I've quite a lot of packing to do.
Now, listen,
You don't mind if I make this a threesome, do you? Won't be a threesome long because only 2 of us are going out of here.
Tommy, you're not going to make a scene.
You're right. I'm just going to make a mess out of my brother.
You haven't got the nerve.
Tom!
I figured you'd be coming up here. And this time I'm not going to fall under the table until the job is finished.
You're going to behave yourself.
Look out, I'm making history. You're just a spectator. You can't get him out of your mind. I'm going to knock him out of it. Put up your hands, brother.
She isn't worth fighting about.
You can't talk that way about my wife. It's one I learned in the Army. How do you like it, Steve?
Does it make you feel better to knock me down?
Get up and try another one.
Thanks, I'm very comfortable right here.
There's your dream lover, Nancy. Take a good look at him, will you? What's that?
That is your son.
My son?
He's not accustomed to family brawls.
My son? Where is he?
Well, guess I might as well run along.
Wait a minute. Why did you come here, Steve?
I thought I could talk a little sense into you, but I guess you don't need it.
You knew Tommy would come up here, didn't you?
I thought he might. He's been wanting to sock me for so long, I figured it'd be good if he got it out of his system. I don't think you'll have any trouble with him now.
I see. Thank you, Steve.
It was sort of an obsession with him.
Yes, we all get them once in a while, don't we?
Sure. But you get over them.
Yes. Good night, Steve.
Good night. You know, Nancy, I once said you were a thoroughbred. You really are. Good night.
Nancy.
I'm coming.
Nancy. You know something? Yep. He looks like me.
Of course he does. That's why I call him Tommy.
Nancy, is this the other kind of love you were talking about?
That's it.
Well, this is the kind of love I've always wanted. Look, can you be ready to leave in 10 minutes?
Where are we going?
Fort Dix.
I'm ready now.
Come on, then. Up you go, Tommy.
Come on, Tommy. Come on, darling. We're in the Army now.
In a moment, our stars will return to the microphone for their curtain calls. And now, for just a moment's time, we'll tell you about Lux in Rhyme.
Sing a song of soapsuds, a song about a few of all the things around the house that Lux can do for you.
Let's start with window curtains.
They tell an awful lot about the way your house is kept all fresh and clean.
Or not.
So Lux 'em well and often.
It's easy, you'll agree.
You get a lot of suds so fast with new Quick Lux, you see.
Then Lux is grand for blankets.
It's mild and pure, and so it keeps 'em furry, soft, and warm.
And gets 'em white as snow.
Or if they're pink or green or blue, keeps colors lovely longer, too.
Lux cleans your floors. It washes doors.
Takes children's scrawls off painted walls.
Cleans Persian rugs, oil paintings, jugs.
Piano keys with greatest ease.
And when it comes to washing dishes, Lux does what every woman wishes.
Yes, does dishes in a trice. And it lets your hands stay nice.
So we don't see, for goodness sakes,
how you can live without
Lux Flakes.
Well, there's a lot of truth, as well as a bit of poetry, in our story about the way new Quick Lux helps you around the house. Does every soap and water job quickly, thoroughly, thriftily, and saves your hands in the bargain. Keep big boxes of new Quick Lux in your kitchen, bathroom, laundry, so you'll always have it handy, whenever and wherever you need it. Now, here's Mr. DeMille with our stars.
A little unfinished business still remains for the evening, and that's a well-merited curtain call for Irene Dunne and Don Ameche.
Thank you, Mr. DeMille. It was grand coming back again.
Yes, C.B., I enjoyed it, too. But who wouldn't enjoy playing opposite Irene Dunne?
Now, Don, there's anything you can't do. You invent telephones, you pinch hit for Bing Crosby on the radio, and now you make me blush.
It's very becoming.
You're two of a kind, I'm afraid.
You know, Irene, I wish you'd tell the audience something about the way you made the picture Unfinished Business. How that unique director, Gregory LaCava, works.
Yeah, I've heard something about that, too. How does it go?
Well, there wasn't really a script of the picture until it was all finished. We just had a sort of an outline of the scenes, and most of the dialogue was made up right on the set, just as the picture was shot.
Well, that's a swell idea, but I can think of places where it wouldn't quite work. Suppose you were shooting a big storm scene and reaped the wild wind, C.B., and Ray Milland was about to be swept overboard. Might be kind of embarrassing if he had to hold on until he could think of the right line, wouldn't it?
You have a point there, Don. But with the right play, Gregory LaCava's way of directing certainly gets delightful results.
What play are you doing here next week, Mr. DeMille?
Next week, Irene, get ready for a shock. Next week, we introduce two new stars to the legitimate drama. They're famous, in fact, notorious. Their names, Abbott and Costello. Yes, the comedy sensation of the year will be right here next Monday night. And you'll hear these two zanies in the universal picture that made the nation Abbott and Costello conscious, Buck Privates. It's a story of the way life is certainly not lived in the Army, but might be if Abbott and Costello were really Buck Privates. Frankly, I won't make any prediction about next week, except that I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, C.B., that's for me, and I guess about 20 million other people, too.
Good night, C.B.
Good night. There was gold in that star acting. Our sponsors, the makers of Lux Flakes, join me in inviting you to be with us again next Monday night when the Lux Radio Theater presents Bud Abbott and Lou Costello in Buck Privates. This is Cecil B. DeMille saying good night to you from Hollywood.
Ladies and gentlemen, Meet Mr. Meek is coming back on the air. Yes, day after tomorrow, Wednesday night's favorite radio family will be coming around to your house again. You remember Mortimer Meek, the soft-spoken little man who has an uncanny way of getting out of trouble. His daughter Peggy, the one person who thinks he's important. His wife Agatha, and his brother-in-law Louis, the hungriest man in the world. Well, if you haven't met the Meek family, you're due for a treat. You'll laugh at them and you'll love them, too. Now, that's Wednesday, day after tomorrow, on most of these stations. After Meet Mr. Meek, stay tuned in for Big Town, the exciting drama starring Edward G. Robinson, which starts again the same night. Check your newspaper for the time and station on both these fine programs. Heard in tonight's play were Gail Gordon as Steve, Dick Elliott as Elmer, and B. Benaderet, Virginia Gordon, Verna Felton, Fred Mackay, Arthur Q. Bryan, Jean Ray, Jack George, Betty Ventura, Monroe Brown, and Leon Ledoux. Irene Dunne is currently appearing in the Universal picture Unfinished Business. Don Ameche will soon be seen in the 20th Century Fox picture Confirm and Deny. Our music was directed by Louis Silvers, and your announcer has been Melville Ruick. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Mutual Broadcasting System presents The Mysterious Traveler, written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Kogan, and starring tonight two of radio's foremost actors, Eric Dressler and John Sylvester, in an original radio drama titled Murder is My Business.
This is The Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, and it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can. Our story tonight begins in a huge white mansion overlooking the Hudson River, some 50 miles above New York City. In a large, comfortable room, David Phillips, a slender, nervous man in his early 30s, is seated at a desk, typing.
Dear Julia, a year has passed since we last saw each other, and I'm writing this letter with the hope that you will understand all that I'm about to reveal, and understanding will forgive me. I'm a writer, darling, and yet I find it difficult to put into words the horrible events of the past year. As they flash through my mind, I can feel the quickening of my pulse, and the hatred within me surges up as overwhelmingly as... But I mustn't think of that. It's much more important that you understand what has happened. It all began the day I was in my study, writing a script for the Dangerous Adventure radio show.
Darling, it's for you.
Who is it?
It's Basil King.
Basil King?
Dave, wait a minute. I want to talk to you.
But, honey, Basil King, I can't keep him waiting.
Yes, you can.
Well, we'll talk fast.
King's looking for a writer for his radio show, isn't he?
Yeah, Sig Rodman just quit.
Quit? You mean he had a nervous breakdown? And so has every other writer who's ever worked for Basil King. Dave, I don't want you to write for him.
But, Julie, his show pays $600 a week. We could pay off all our debts with that kind of dough.
Darling, be sensible. No amount of money is worth the punishment you'll have to take from him.
Now, look, we'll talk about this later. He's on the phone.
Tell him no.
Shh, he'll hear you. Hello?
Mr. Phillips, this is Basil King speaking.
Oh, yes, Mr. King.
Several people have spoken very highly of you as a radio writer, and at the moment I'm in need of one for my show, Brad Barker, Private Eye. Would you care to discuss the matter?
I'd like to, very much.
Are you free for luncheon tomorrow?
Yes, I am.
Shall we say 1 o'clock at the Algonquin?
All right, Mr. King.
Just ask for my table. Good day, Mr. Phillips.
Good day. Now, honey, don't look at me that way.
Dave, I just don't understand you. It doesn't make sense wanting to write for him. Everyone who's ever worked for Basil King detests him. He's the most hated man in radio.
Be reasonable, Julie. $600 a week is a lot of dough. If I can't get along with King, I'll quit. Now, what more can you ask? Next day, as the head waiter led me through the crowded dining room, I could see Basil King seated at a table in a far corner of the room. King was a tall, slender, gray-haired man in his late 40s. He had a cold, impassive face, and his movements were stiff and precise. It suddenly occurred to me that he bore an amazing resemblance to Clifton Webb, the Hollywood star. As I reached King's table, he stood up.
How do you do, Mr. Phillips? I'm Basil King. Have a seat, won't you?
Thank you.
I suggest we talk first and order luncheon later.
All right, Mr. King.
Now, Mr. Phillips, to begin with, I'm a man who believes in frankness. I dare say this frankness of mine has led to my making a large number of enemies and has given me the reputation of being an extremely difficult person to get along with. No doubt you've heard quite a few stories about me.
Yes, I have.
Believe me, they're highly exaggerated. Great talents, such as myself, have always been misunderstood. The petty minds in this world, not understanding men of genius, are forever seeking to destroy us.
I see.
I wonder if you do, Mr. Phillips. I wonder if you do. I ask very little of my writers, merely a modicum of intelligence and the ability to accept constructive criticism.
That sounds reasonable enough.
Yes, one would think so, and yet I haven't been able to find a writer who understands me.
I'm sure you will sooner or later.
Perhaps, but to date it's been very discouraging. However, we mustn't dwell on the past. Now, Mr. Phillips, you come highly recommended, and I trust that ours shall be a happy and profitable relationship.
I hope so.
By the way, you aren't troubled by ulcers, are you?
Why, no.
Good. For some unfathomable reason, all the writers I've had in the past seem to have been afflicted with ulcers. I can't stand people who are always taking pills and subsisting on bland diets. Tell me, are you familiar with my show, Brad Barker, Private Eye?
Oh, yes. I've heard it quite often.
Good. Then you're undoubtedly aware that there are two things I insist upon in my shows. Clever plots and gimmicks that work. Bear that in mind, Mr. Phillips. Clever plots and gimmicks that work.
I understand.
It's on those two rules that I have single-handedly built the most popular detective show on the air. You've only to look at the Hooper rating of Brad Barker, Private Eye, to substantiate what I'm saying.
Yes, I know. You've got a terrific rating.
18.6. Needless to add, my sponsor, the Zestful Chewing Gum Company, has increased its sales tremendously. Now, Mr. Phillips, I'm prepared to pay $600 a week for the writing of Brad Barker. Is that satisfactory?
Yes, that sounds fair enough.
When may I expect your first script?
Well, let's see. Today is Wednesday. What about Monday morning?
That's satisfactory. Monday morning it is. Now, shall we order luncheon?
An hour later, Basil King and I separated in front of the Algonquin. I went home and started work on the script, determined to turn out a show that would make King sit up and take notice. After 4 days and nights of intensive writing, I completed the script. Monday morning, I went downtown to Basil King's luxurious office and turned the script over to him. As I sat by his desk, watching him read it, it was hard to tell what he thought of it. His face was cold and impassive as he turned page after page. At last, he finished reading it and looked up.
It won't do, Mr. Phillips.
It won't do? Well, why not?
First of all, you haven't caught the spirit of Brad Barker in your dialogue. But more important, the plot is weak, and your murder gimmick won't work.
Well, I don't see why it won't. Would you mind explaining?
In this script, you have the victim, what's his name?
Charles Riker.
Yes, you have this fellow, Charles Riker, whose life has been threatened, barricade himself in a small cabin. All doors and windows are locked from the inside, and in addition, he's armed to the teeth and has a watchdog with him.
That's right.
2 days after this fellow Riker has barricaded himself, Brad Barker breaks into the cabin to find him dead. Dead of poison.
Yes.
Your gimmick is that the murderer, unable to get at Riker, has tapped the water pipe which ran from the spring to the cabin and poisoned the water.
Yes, well, what's wrong with that?
My dear fellow, don't you think that when Riker drew a glass of water in the cabin, he'd have tasted the poison in the water?
But I planted in the script that the poison was tasteless.
Oh, you did? Well, nevertheless, it won't work.
Oh, why not?
It just doesn't ring true. I don't feel it.
Why not?
I wish you'd stop asking why not. It's obvious that I don't like your gimmick, and if I don't like it, 15 million radio listeners won't like it. If our relationship is to continue, you must learn to accept constructive criticism. After all, my dear fellow, you have merely to look at the rating of the show to realize that I am never wrong. Furthermore, I should like to point out that at no time...
Is that you, Dave?
Yes, Julie?
How did King like your script? He didn't like it.
That's putting it mildly.
Oh, but that was a good script. One of the best you've ever done.
That's what I thought. But Mr. King didn't.
No wonder all his writers have nervous breakdowns. That man doesn't know what he wants.
Well, I'll give it one more try.
You mean you're still going to try to write for him?
Now, honey, there's no use in giving up so soon. Maybe once I get to know King's likes and dislikes, it won't be so tough to write for him.
Dave, I've never interfered before, but this is too much. I want you to call that egomaniac King up and tell him you're through.
Julie, I can't. I told King that I'd turn in another script by Thursday.
Oh, Dave.
I promise you that if he doesn't like the second script, I'll give up. Now, that's fair enough, isn't it? For the next 3 days and nights, I sweated over a new script. As I worked out the plot and gimmick, I tried to anticipate Basil King's every possible objection. Early Thursday morning, I went downtown to King's office and turned the script over to him. As he sat reading it, I began thinking of what I would say to him if he turned the show down. I would tell him quite firmly that it was obvious I wasn't the man to write the Brad Barker show. At last, King finished reading the script and looked up.
The plot, Mr. Phillips, isn't exactly new, and the dialogue needs rewriting here and there, but on the whole, it will do.
You mean you like it?
I wouldn't go so far as to say that I like it. Rather, let us say that it's acceptable. I trust, Mr. Phillips, that with time your scripts will improve. Good day.
I left Basil King's office that morning convinced that I would succeed where other writers had failed. I felt it would be just a question of time until I learned the workings of King's mind. But then I discovered, as so many of my predecessors had, that Basil King's likes and dislikes were not constant from day to day. What he told you on Thursday didn't hold true on Friday. Weeks went by, and for every show that King accepted, he'd reject two. He would criticize every script from beginning to end, tearing it to bits relentlessly and coldly. Any questioning of his criticism would lead to his redoubling his attack. One week slipped into another, and with each passing week, my hatred for Basil King grew. Life became a nightmare of deadlines, of writing endlessly with one eye constantly on the clock.
Darling, you just can't go on this way. You've got to quit.
Julie, we've been over this a dozen times already. We need the $600 a week to pay off our debts.
What good is that money if you have a nervous breakdown? Look at yourself. You've lost 15 pounds in these past weeks, and you're smoking 5 packs of cigarettes a day.
Please, Julie, I've had all I can take today. Now, let's not talk about it anymore.
You're not kidding me, Dave. The money is only part of it. It's your pride that won't let you quit.
My pride?
Yes. You can't stand the thought of quitting like the others did. You've got to prove that you're better than they are.
That's enough.
Well, it's the truth, isn't it? It's only your pig-headed pride that makes you go on when anyone with sense would quit.
I said that's enough.
Dave, we can't go on like this.
What do you mean?
I'm not going to stand around and watch you have a breakdown. You'll have to choose between Basil King and myself.
Now, look, Julie, you're upset. You don't know what you're saying.
I know perfectly well what I'm saying. I'm asking you to choose between Basil King and myself.
Stop trying to intimidate me. I told you before I'm not quitting, and I meant it.
All right, Dave. If that's the way you want it, I'm leaving.
Well, go ahead. No one's stopping you. Basil King may be able to make you quit, but not me. You call it pride, okay. But I won't let a louse like him beat me. Somehow I'll get the better of him. You wait and see.
Goodbye, Dave.
I was so emotionally worn out the night you left me, Julie. I could scarce comprehend my loss at the time. There seemed to be only two people in the world. Basil King and myself. As I traveled back and forth day after day between my typewriter and King's office, my hatred for him increased 100-fold. Feeling my hatred for him, King redoubled his sadistic attack, sensing that I was determined not to quit. The weeks slipped by, and the nightmare continued. King insisted that I come to all rehearsals of the show so that the cast, as he put it, might see the culprit who wrote the script. It was at a rehearsal that I first met Mr. Pearson, president of the Zestful Chewing Gum Company. He was sitting in the control room, watching with great respect as Basil King rehearsed the cast.
No. My dear Miss Hunter, I assumed when I hired you that you were a radio actress. If I'm wrong, please enlighten me.
What did I do that was wrong, Mr. King?
I don't feel it. I just don't feel it. Try it again.
Rocky, you've got to give me a chance to explain. It wasn't my fault. Honest, it wasn't, Rocky.
Cut. Miss Hunter, you sound too young. I want you to age the role 1 year. Mind you, just 1 year.
Yes, Mr. King. Rocky, you've got to give me a chance to explain. It wasn't my fault. Honest, it wasn't. Rocky, don't!
Cut! Well, if that's the best you can give me, it will have to do. And Mr. Cooney, if you can't do better, I'll have to get another sound man. Take 15 minutes.
It's dreadful, Mr. King, the incompetence you have to put up with.
Yes, Mr. Pearson, it often amazes me that I've been as successful as I have. Oh, speaking of incompetence, Mr. Pearson, I'd like you to meet the present writer of the show, Mr. Phillips.
How do you do, Mr. Phillips?
Glad to meet you, sir.
I have great hopes, Mr. Pearson, of making a radio writer out of Phillips.
Well, I'm sure if anyone can do it, you're that person, Mr. King.
Pardon me, Mr. King. Would you like to hear the commercial now?
Very well, Caruso. Go ahead.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, July 8th is the big day. In just 1 month, you'll be able to buy the latest discovery in chewing gum happiness, Pepso Gum. Made by the Zestful Chewing Gum Company, Pepso Gum is a new gum. A gum with a jailed-in flavor, designed to give you hours of chewing pleasure. Remember, the big day is July 8th, when Pepso Gum will be on sale at all candy counters.
I don't feel it, Caruso. I want more emphasis. I want you to be so compelling that people will rush to their drugstores and place orders for this new gum.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Rehearse it a few more times, and I'll go over it with you later.
Yes, Mr. King.
Well, I guess I'll be getting back to the office, Mr. King. Most kind of you to allow me to watch your rehearsal.
That's quite all right, Mr. Pearson.
It was a pleasure meeting you, Mr. Phillips. I assume that you'll be at the factory for next week's broadcast?
The factory?
Yes, Phillips, we're doing the broadcast from the factory next week.
Yes, it's the company's 25th anniversary. You've no idea how our employees are looking forward to your broadcast. Yes, indeed. Well, good day, gentlemen.
Goodbye,
Bye.
Miss Pearson. Mr. Phillips, I have here the script you turned in for next week's show. It won't do.
Why not?
There are so many things wrong with the script that it's hard to know where to begin. Let's start with your murder gimmick. You have the victim, I believe his name is Roger Roden.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, you have this fellow Roden picking up an envelope, licking the flap, and sealing the envelope. A minute later, he drops dead. Your gimmick is potassium cyanide powder has been mixed into the glue of the envelope flap.
Yes, and when Roden licked the flap, his tongue absorbed the poison.
It just won't stand up.
Why not?
For the simple reason that Roden's tongue wouldn't absorb enough potassium cyanide to kill him.
Oh, but it would. Potassium cyanide is a very potent poison. Just a few grains will kill a man.
Possibly, but I'm not convinced. And if you can't convince me, you won't convince our 16 million listeners. It just won't do.
It will work. I tell you, it will work.
I'm sorry, Mr. Phillips, but I don't agree. How soon can you have another script for me?
It was at that moment I knew I was going to murder Basil King. Perhaps all along it had been there, buried in my subconscious. For the first time in weeks, my hands stopped trembling, and I was able to think clearly of all that had happened. I had allowed Basil King, a man who was a psychopathic case, to drag me down to his own level. And what was worse, I had lost Julie. My stupid pride had driven the one person I loved away from me. Basil King would pay for that. And all the anguish he'd caused so many people. I thought of King's rejection of my potassium cyanide gimmick. And suddenly it came to me how ironic it would be if his death were brought about by potassium cyanide. Yes, the great man dying by a gimmick which he declared wouldn't work. Of course, I couldn't use the envelope flap, but there were other ways, and I would think of one. Well, that night, a plan began to form in my mind. A plan which was completed a week later as I was being shown through the zestful chewing gum factory by Mr. Morris, the superintendent of the factory. I had no idea the factory was so large, Mr. Morris. We seem to have walked miles.
I'm afraid you radio riders just aren't used to walking. Probably ride in taxi cabs all the time.
I guess you're right. Oh, what's this place?
This is the shipping room. Oh. That about completes the tour. I reckon you've seen just about everything.
Say, all these boxes have Pepsi gum marked on the side of them.
That's right.
You getting ready to distribute it all over the country?
Yeah, you're going to start shipping next week.
You know, I've heard so many announcements on the show about Pepsi gum that I'm curious. What's it taste like?
Well, it's hard to say. It has sort of a sharp flavor.
Sounds good. Do you have any around? I'd like to taste it.
Well, I'd like to give you some, Mr. Phillips, but the old man, Mr. Pearson, he's given out strict orders not to give any of it out. Reckon he's trying to keep it from the public till the last minute.
Oh. But employees have tasted it, haven't they?
Oh, sure.
Well, Mr. Morris, you're looking at an employee right now. I do write radio shows for the company.
Yeah, I guess you are an employee after all. I reckon I can give you a pack of Pepsi gum. There you are.
Thanks. An attractive-looking pack of gum.
Yeah, you got to catch the customer's eye if you want to sell gum. Oh, what do you say if we go back to the auditorium?
Fine. I've seen the whole factory, and I've got a pack of the new Pepsi gum. What more could I ask for? A few minutes later, I left Mr. Morris in the auditorium, where the great Basil King was rehearsing the cast for the show. I walked across the street to the inn where we were staying and went up to my room. There, I took the pack of Pepsi gum from my pocket and withdrew one of the 5 sticks of gum. I very carefully removed the wrapper, and then taking a dampened handkerchief, I wiped the candy powder off the stick of gum. It took but another minute to evenly sprinkle potassium cyanide powder over the wet stick of gum. In a very short time, the gum dried, and it was impossible to tell that the fine, powdery coating on it was a coating of death. I rewrapped the stick of gum and carefully inserted it in the center of the pack. When I arrived at the auditorium 10 minutes before airtime, the great man was relaxing in the control room. With him were Mr. Pearson and Bill, the broadcast engineer.
Oh, there you are, Mr. Phillips. I was afraid you were going to miss the broadcast.
Mr. Phillips may not be a good writer, but he is a punctual one, Mr. Pearson.
Mr. King, you're a great one for banter. You have a ready wit.
Thank you, Mr. Pearson.
Look at that auditorium. Completely packed. I've never seen our employees so enthusiastic, and it's all due to you, Mr. King. I hope you'll say a few words to them after the broadcast.
Why, I shall be delighted to.
Can you spare a minute, Mr. King?
What is it?
Do you remember that script I turned in a week ago with the potassium cyanide gimmick?
You mean where the victim licked the envelope flap and was poisoned? Yes, I remember that deplorable script. What about it?
Well, I was wondering, what if we were to switch the potassium cyanide to something else? Instead of the envelope, perhaps the cyanide might be sprinkled on a piece of candy or something like that.
No. It would never work. I don't feel it.
You really don't think it would, huh?
Certainly not. Really, Mr. Phillips, you're showing less and less imagination from week to week.
Well, I just thought I'd mention it.
Hey, Mr. Phillips, that pack of gum you have, isn't that the new Pepsi gum?
Yes, Mr. Pearson, that's right.
But I gave strict orders that it wasn't to be given out. How did you get it?
Yes, how did you get it?
I found this pack in the shipping room. I hope you don't mind my having taken it.
Well, no. After all, we are just one big family.
You see, Mr. Pearson, I've heard so much about the new Pepsi gum that I was curious to find out what it tasted like.
Well, what did you think of it?
Well, I haven't tried it yet. But I guess this is as good a time as ever. Have a piece?
Don't mind if I do. Thank you.
What about you, Mr. King?
No, thank you.
You mean you aren't even curious to know what Mr. Pearson's new gum tastes like?
Please, Mr. King, I'm very eager to know what you think of the flavor. I have great respect for your opinion.
Very well, Mr. Pearson.
Here you are, Mr. King.
Thank you.
I understand it has a sharp flavor, Mr. Pearson.
Yes, but delightfully so. That's delicious. Well, I have a feeling that Pepsi gum is going to be a tremendous success. Go ahead, Mr. King. Put it in your mouth. I'm anxious to have your opinion.
Yes. Yes. Well, it certainly has a sharp taste.
Oh, not that sharp. Keep chewing it. 1 minute to airtime, Mr. King.
Thank you.
I watched the great man, Basil King, chewing a stick of Pepsi gum. I knew that he found the flavor a bit sharp. And if Mr. Pearson hadn't been watching him, he would have spat it out. Yes, Mr. King didn't like the flavor, but with the sponsor looking on, he had to continue chewing. I watched the minute hand sweep around the clock. In 30 seconds, we would be on the air, and according to my calculations, Mr. King would keel over 15 seconds after we were on the air.
Stand by.
I'll give you the go-ahead, Mr. King.
Very well.
Coming up. Go ahead.
Chewing Gum Company presents Brad Barker, Private Eye. Conceived, produced, directed, and edited by Basil King.
My dear fellow, the monitor is too high. That's it. Take it down. You engineers just don't know. Oh! My heart!
Brad Barker,
King, what's
Private
wrong?
Eye.
My heart!
Quick, catch him.
I've got him, Mr. Pearson. You'd better get a doctor. It looks like a heart attack.
Yes, I'll get one immediately.
Phil, turn down the monitor. Just do the best you can.
Okay, Dave. You take care of him, and I'll take care of the show.
And soon there will be a special flavor added to the zest of chewing gum.
King, can you hear me? Yes, get a doctor. Do you remember the potassium cyanide gimmick?
Potassium cyanide?
Yes. I just want you to know you're wrong. It does work. That's why you're dying.
What?
That stick of gum I gave you. It was covered with potassium cyanide powder.
No, get a doctor.
A doctor can't help you. You're going to die.
Brad Barker, Private Eye.
Poor Mr. King.
Small dingy office overlooking the harbor. On the door is a letter.
You just forgot one thing.
Front Protective Association.
Murder is my business. Julie, darling, that was a year ago, and I've never ceased to regret your leaving me. I'm writing this in the hope that you will find it in your heart to forgive me. I admit that it was my stupid pride that wouldn't allow me to acknowledge defeat at Basil King's hands. But he's gone now, Julie. And if you could only see your way clear to start all over.
Hi. Hello, Mr. Phillips. Remember me? John Pearson?
Mr. Pearson?
Yes. You remember Mr. Morris, my factory superintendent?
Hello?
We happened to be driving past and thought it'd be a nice gesture to drop in and find out how you were getting along.
Please, I've got to finish this letter to my wife, Julia. I've got to finish it.
It doesn't seem to be getting any better, does he, Mr. Pearson?
No, he doesn't. Look at all these letters scattered around. Must be at least 100. They're all addressed to his wife.
What a pity, huh?
Yes, I'll never forget that day that Basil King died of a heart attack. I came back to the control room to find poor Mr. Phillips crying hysterically over the body. He never has gotten over the shock of Basil King's death. What a wonderful friendship that was.
This is the mysterious traveler. Did you enjoy our little trip? It's too bad about Dave Phillips, isn't it? His mind snapped in his hour of triumph. 16 weeks of life with Basil King proved to be just too much for him mentally. As Basil King used to say, being a radio writer calls for a weak mind. However, it does seem that Dave Phillips did get in the last word. For Basil King died of a gimmick he claimed would never work. And the police, oddly enough, never did suspect it was murder. Now, I recall another case in which a young man awoke to find himself dead, and he decided... you have to get off here. I'm sorry. I'm sure we'll meet again. I take this same train every week at this same time.
You have just heard The Mysterious Traveler, a series of dramas of the strange and terrifying. All characters in tonight's story were fictitious, and any resemblance to the names of actual persons was purely coincidental. In tonight's cast were Maurice Tarplin, Eric Dressler, John Sylvester, Shirley Blank, and Richard Coogan. Original music was played by Paul Taubman. Sound was by George Cooney, broadcast engineer Walter Payne. Mysterious Traveler is written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Cogan. Listen next week to a tale titled
Queen of the Cats.
Another strange and suspenseful tale of the Mysterious Traveler. This program has come to you from our New York studios. Another program of tense and dramatic action will follow in just a minute. Stay tuned to the station for Official Detective. Carl Caruso speaking. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Let go of my arms. I'll give you money. All the money you want. No, Fred, no! You monsters! I'll make you pay for this.
Midnight, the witching hour when the night is darkest, our fears the strongest, and our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the graves gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute in Murder's a Lonely Business. Murder at Midnight. Unusual stories of terror and mystery by radio's masters of the macabre. This tale, a study of murder in duet, is by William Morwood. Its title, Murder's a Lonely Business. At a cemetery, a burial is taking place.
For as much as it hath pleased Almighty God of his great mercy, to take unto himself the soul of our brother,
The two chief mourners, Fred and Grace Tilson, stand beside the open grave.
earth to earth,
And as he looks at his
ashes
wife,
to ashes,
bitter thoughts
dust
course
to
through
dust.
Fred's mind.
sure and certain
Look
hope
at her.
of the resurrection
Look at her standing there,
through our
dabbing
Lord
her eyes with a
Jesus
handkerchief.
Christ, who shall praise
Tears.
our vile body,
Real tears after what she did,
like unto his glory
after what she made me do.
according to the working whereby
She doesn't know what sincerity is, or love, or pity either. She's hard all the way through.
Almighty God,
And I never knew, never even suspected till we killed him.
by his grace in the tomb,
And now, that's the way she acted. I'll never forget it. Never. A nightmare always. How can I go on living with her? How can I ever trust her again? What am I to do? Oh, Lord, I'd give anything for it.
To think I ever married that sniveling creature. I believe he's really crying. Really sorry. As if he cared a hoop about his Uncle Edward outside of the money he could get out of him. He was ready enough to help put the old man out of the way the other night. Now his nerve's gone. All he can think about is a drink. That's the only time I feel safe with him. When he's drunk. And not always then. The way he's been carrying on lately, Lord knows what he'll say or do next. I'll have to watch him every minute of the time. He's a fool.
through thy mercy,
I
O our
despise
Lord, who livest and reignest with the Father and the Holy Ghost, ever one God, world without end. Amen.
Amen. Goodbye, Uncle Edward. They're throwing dirt on your coffin now. But you won't mind. You're cold and silent now. Very different from the way you were 3 nights ago.
3 nights ago. Was that all it was? Another lifetime, but... Yes, that's right. Driving up to his house in the dark. Letting ourselves in. Uncle Edward!
He must be up in his study.
I guess so. Servant's night out. Uncle Edward?
The door above opened, and Uncle Edward started down the marble staircase. In my mind's eye, instead of Uncle Edward, I could see my friends, a whole crowd filling the room, and myself in a gorgeous gown descending to greet them. A much more fitting picture than the stodgy form of Uncle Edward as he came down toward us.
Well, this is a surprise.
I thought we'd drop in, Uncle Edward. It's been a long time.
6 weeks, to be exact, Fred. How are you, Grace?
Wonderful, thanks, Uncle Edward.
I'm glad to hear it. You look a little off your feed. Come on into the library. You'll be more comfortable here. Oh, a drink, Fred?
Why,
Don't be polite. From what I hear, you're rarely seen without one these days.
You sound as if you'd had spies watching us, Uncle Edward.
It's entirely possible. I've certainly been interested in your activities. For instance, I hear you can be found at a gambling house almost every evening, Grace.
Oh, only the fashionable ones, where everybody goes. You've got to keep in the swim nowadays.
If you can afford it. You can't. Not on Fred's salary.
That's the trouble.
well, frankly, Uncle Edward, that's why we've come here tonight. We're in a jam again.
Money?
What else?
And you want me to bail you out, huh? Well, I'll be equally frank with you. This time, I'm not going to do it.
Just
But Uncle
I'm
Edward...
sorry I've helped you out of messes often enough in the past. Each time, I hoped you'd pull yourself together, settle down, and lead solid, respectable lives. But each time, you disappointed me. Now, I've given up hoping.
Uncle Edward, I promise you...
Too late, Fred. I can't believe your promises anymore. I've given you and Grace every chance. Now I'm washing my hands of you. You can't expect help from me ever again. Now or in the future.
Exactly What does that mean?
My lawyer's coming here tomorrow, and I'm going to cut Fred out of my will. Cut him out entirely.
Uncle Edward.
Every cent I have is to be left to charity.
Why, you're not serious. You can't be. Why, it's not fair. I'm your only nephew, and
There's no use talking, Fred. My mind is made up. Now, would you care to discuss the weather?
No.
I thought you wouldn't, Grace.
Come on, Fred. Uncle Edward, I advise you to change your mind about this.
I beg your pardon?
Because if you don't, you may live to be sorry.
We went outside. Grace was in a white rage, and I was all jumping myself. We walked around the garden paths, trying to get hold of ourselves before we started back to town.
You know what this means, don't you, Fred? The end of everything. We'll never be able to get credit once it's known that Uncle Edward's cut us off.
Yes, I know.
Somehow, some way, we've got to stop him from changing his will.
But how? You know there's no use arguing with him. He's as stubborn as a mule. Besides, there's no time left. He's going to do it tomorrow.
I know. Unless, of course, something happens to him before that.
Such as?
He could die.
What?
Suddenly.
Some chance he's as healthy. Grace, what are you thinking of?
You know.
You're mad.
If you want to spend the rest of your life struggling with debts, not able to do anything, I don't.
But
everything's perfect for it. The old man's alone in the house. No one knows we called this evening. No one will.
Stop it. I won't listen to you.
Be a man for once in your life. Everything you want. Money, luxury. For 5 minutes' work.
Yes, but how?
The gun. The gun he keeps in the desk in his study. You've seen it.
Yes, but...
We'll take the money, valuables, to make it look like a robbery. Well, what are you afraid of? The sight of a little blood?
Grace, I don't know you when you talk like this. You...
I know what I'm after for both of us. It's our only chance of a future. Together. Are you coming?
Yes.
All right. Then let's go in. The servants will be coming back. We haven't any time to waste.
We went back into the house, climbed the long staircase to Uncle Edward's study. My mouth was dry, my knees were shaking. We reached the landing.
Knock on the door.
Grace, suppose...
It's too late to suppose anything. Knock.
Yes? Come in. I was expecting you back.
You were?
Certainly. I didn't think you let the money go that easily. Not after Grace's threat.
What do you mean?
You should have been a man, Grace. You've a completely ruthless streak in you. You'll stop at nothing to get what you're after. No wonder you've led poor Fred around by the nose so long.
Now, look here, Uncle Edward.
Sorry to hurt your feelings, Fred, but you must admit it's true. Now, if you two will explain why you came back...
We hope to make you change your mind.
You should know me better than that. I've said my last word.
Not your last, Uncle Edward. Not yet.
What Grace means
You don't have to explain, Fred. Her interest in my desk explains itself. The right-hand drawer, Grace. Were you by any chance looking for this?
The gun?
Yes, I took the precaution of removing it. As I said, I was expecting you back.
I don't know what you're talking about, Uncle Edward. I was only looking for your checkbook. I thought the least that you could do was to help us out of our present difficulties.
It's a good story, Grace, but not quite good enough. Now, as it's almost 12, perhaps you'd both be good enough to leave my house permanently.
You win, Uncle Edward. I suppose we were foolish to think that we could find a soft spot in that stone heart of yours.
You were foolish, all right. This way.
This reminds me of the old days, when Fred and I were first married, when we used to come and visit you. You used to see us to the head of the stairs when it came time to go. Just like this.
That was a long time ago.
I wish those days could come back.
Impossible. Well, good night, Fred, and goodbye.
Well, aren't you going to shake hands with your only nephew?
Well, since it's for the last time, goodbye, Fred.
Hold him, Fred. He's on. Fred.
Let go of me,
Hold
Grace.
his hands, Fred. Get him. What?
No, stop. I'll give you money. All the money you want.
No, Fred.
No, you monsters. I'll make you pay for this.
Grace, what did we do? What did you make me...
Get down there, quick.
There's no pulse. His heart. He's dead. Grace, when did you find him?
An accident. The old man tripped on the stairs and broke his back. The money's ours, Fred. Everything we wanted.
What's that? What? Grace, dear.
So you think it's yours, do you? Nothing is yours but death. Because you're going to
A dead man lying at the foot of the stairs, and a white-faced couple staring at each other. Did they hear a voice from beyond? Is it possible for the dead to make the living pay for
murder at midnight?
Now, here is Grace Tilton to continue our story.
It went according to plan. The inquest raised no ugly questions or suspicions. And then after Uncle Edward's funeral, we settled down in the great old mansion. I could have been happy, so happy, except for Fred. He'd taken to drinking again. Haven't you had enough, Fred?
Another little drink won't do me. Excuse me.
You're such an idiot. The way you've been acting ever since...
We did in poor Uncle Edward? Don't be afraid to say it, Grace. We're alone now.
Why did you give up your job so suddenly?
I'm a rich man now. No need to work.
But it looks so suspicious. And the way you've let yourself slip. That dirty shirt. You haven't shaved in 2 days.
Don't tell me you're ashamed of me.
I can't ask anyone to the house. And I had such plans for us. Entertaining, parties, making a name for ourselves.
Sorry, that's not my idea of a career.
In heaven's name, what is?
Drinks. More drinks. Then another one.
I won't let you turn into a drunken bum. I won't be disgraced like that.
I'll do exactly what I like, and you won't stop me. Don't forget, my love. We share a little secret together.
I'm not forgetting.
No matter what happens, you're tied to me for the rest of your life.
I wouldn't be too sure of that, Fred. If I get a chance at what I want, you won't stand in my way. Nothing will.
What did she mean by that? I thought about it, brooded over it, couldn't forget it. Then one evening as we sat together in a nightclub, things became clearer.
Did you hear me, Fred?
What?
I said I wanted a cigarette.
Oh, certainly, Mother. Here you are. Match?
If you can hold it steady enough. Why do you have to get soused every time we go out?
A tribute to your intoxicating charms.
Oh, don't be so... Oh, why, there's Ronnie.
Good old Ronnie. Dowager's delight.
Now, if you'll only look over this way.
With that dress you're wearing? You will.
Ronnie! Oh, Ronnie!
The change that came over her. Smile. Sparkling eyes as he came over to our table.
Well, hello there. This is a pleasant surprise, bumping into you again, Tilson.
Getting to be a regular routine. The theater, the races, everywhere I go with Grace.
Yes, we seem to share a lot in common, Fred.
Sit down, Ronnie. What do you have to drink?
Oh, nothing, thanks. I've had my quota for the evening.
Well, I'm glad someone knows when to stop.
Maybe Ronnie's got other vices.
I have, Fred. One of them's dancing. Mind if I take Grace out on the floor for a turn?
Why ask me? I'm sure Grace will agree to anything you say.
Fred, now what kind of a nasty...
Oh, come on, Grace. Fred didn't mean anything. Well, see you later, old boy.
They danced well together. As I watched them, I remembered the things I'd heard about Ronnie. Of his rich wife who died so conveniently. And the fortune he'd run through. I saw Grace look into his eyes. Their lips moved. The suspicion grew on me till it became a certainty. They were plotting my death. The veins stood out in my forehead. My hands grew cold. But I knew exactly what I had to do. I had to strike first. I had to kill them before they killed me. If only I knew what they were plotting. If only I could hear they were whispering to each other.
Oh, Grace, darling, you're so silent.
It's Fred. How dare he act that way?
Oh, he's a very unpleasant person.
Of course, he's under the weather, but that's no excuse.
Just means he doesn't give a rap for you. Never has.
Well, don't let's talk about him.
Right. Music's lovely.
Yes.
So are you.
Ronnie.
You dance like an angel. I could hold you in my arms forever. Oh, we're just made for each other. You know that, Grace, don't you?
I'd rather not think about it.
But you must. Have you considered what we talked about the other day?
It's impossible.
Why? I love you more than anything in the world. We have the same tastes and ambitions. We could be a wonderful success together.
But...
You love me, too, don't you?
Oh, yes, yes.
Well, then what's stopping us? What's so precious about the life of a drunken bum?
Fred's my husband.
Husband? You love him? Even respect him?
No. I did feel sorry for him, but not anymore. Not after tonight. I hate him.
That's more like it. Well, then there's nothing to interfere.
Except...
The danger? Leave that in my hands. You have just one job to do, Grace.
And that?
Get Fred up to my place in the mountains for a vacation. I guarantee he'll never come back.
I don't know if I should have been suspicious. Fred agreed to go up to Ronnie's place with surprising ease. It was almost as if he'd been expecting the invitation. The night we planned to do it, we sat in the living room, just the three of us. Ronnie was playing the piano.
I'm afraid I'm awfully rusty. I haven't practiced in weeks.
It sounds grand to me, Ronnie.
Why don't you join him, Grace? I know you're just dying to play with Ronnie. Duet, I mean.
Well, that's all we have time for anyway. I promised the Pearsons we wouldn't be late.
Oh, that beach picnic. Tell you the truth, I don't feel much like it.
But you promised to go, Fred.
Do you a world of good, old boy. Wonderful night for a swim.
You both seem very anxious to get me down to that lake.
Why, not at all. If you want Grace and me to go alone.
All right, I'll come. But I've got to go upstairs for my bathing suit. Wait for me here.
Well, hurry it up, old boy. All set, Grace? You know exactly what to do?
Well, I think so.
You make a great fuss about Fred drinking. That'll be remembered afterwards. I'll take care of him at the raft. Push his head underwater.
If he'll struggle, he'll call out.
Not in the condition he's in. He's as weak as a baby. Be all over in a few minutes. I'll swim back.
Ronnie.
Yes?
Isn't there some other way? We love each other so much. Can't we just...
Run off together? Let's be realistic, darling. We need the money. His money. Love in a cottage isn't our style.
I suppose not. Where is he? What's keeping him so long?
I'm just as glad. Come on, Grace. I want to make sure there's an extra bottle of whiskey for him in the car. This way, darling. Through here, into the garage.
Give me your hand, Ronnie.
Now, darling, everything's going to be all right.
Just being with you. Ronnie.
Yes?
I saw something moving.
Where?
Over there. Behind the car.
Fred!
Hello. Thought I'd hurry things up by coming straight out to the garage.
Well, you gave us quite a start.
Why, Grace? Something on your conscience?
Well, the Pearsons will be on our necks if we don't get started soon. Now, in you go. We're off to the races.
But just try to pick the winner. We drove out to the road, the winding road that led down to the valley. I knew just the spot where I had to leave them. From there on, their only companion would be the man with a sickle. Slow down, Ronnie.
Huh?
I'm not going to the picnic after all. My head's splitting.
But it's too late to drive you back, Fred.
You won't have to. I'll walk. Just let me on.
Very well.
But, Ronnie...
It's all right, Grace. We don't want Fred to have a miserable time at the picnic when we can settle things so much better this way.
Oh, thanks. I hate to run out on you, but I've got my health to think of.
Oh, sure. Oh, incidentally, there's a shortcut back to the house through the fence there.
I don't see it.
Go on ahead. I'll turn the headlights on it.
Oh, thanks. Oh, so long. Have a good trip. Where are you going?
Fred, look out!
Shut up!
You ran him down. You killed him.
It's what we wanted, isn't it?
But not here. Not out here on the road.
It'll look like a hit-and-run accident. We'll double back at the bottom of the hill and pretend we came from another direction.
Oh, we won't get away with it, Ronnie. It's no use. They'll catch us this time.
Snap out of it, Grace. Sorry, but you've got to get hold of yourself.
Yes, I must. I can't go all to pieces. My hands are trembling. Where are you going?
Take the wheel. You're going to drive.
No, I can't.
Now move over. Go on.
No.
Now drive. Your life depends on it. Both our lives.
I started down that steep zigzag road, and slowly my nerves relaxed. As the car swooped around the curves, I felt a strange exhilaration.
Easy on these curves, Grace. It's a sheer drop if we go over the cliff.
Are you scared now, Ronnie?
Well, I want to keep my neck in one piece.
You needn't worry. I'm a good driver. Fred always says...
What's the matter?
Nothing.
Keep your mind on the road. There's a hairpin bend ahead of here that... Hey, look out.
Okay, I see it. I pushed on the brake. The pedal went all the way to the floor, but nothing caught. Nothing.
No, Grace. Now, do you know what I was doing there in the garage? I disconnected the brakes.
He did it! Fred!
The fence, Grace. The
He
fence.
connected them!
Yes, Grace. I meant to kill you and Ronnie before you killed
Grace, slow down.
Oh, Ronnie, Fred, take no time.
Slow down. It's too late now. A long, long drop to the rocks.
Ronnie!
See you soon, Grace.
You see how it works out, Fred. And you, Grace, you made one little mistake the night you killed me. You thought that company in crime made it easier. But it doesn't. Murder is a lonely business. A very lonely business.
One body lying crumpled in the middle of the road, and two more in the shattered wreckage of the car at the foot of the cliff. 3 people, lonely no longer, as the clock strikes 12 for murder at midnight. Remember to be with us again when death plays host and the clocks strike 12 for murder at midnight. The part of Grace was played by Helen Shields. Wendell Holmes was her husband. Carl Emery, her lover. With music by Charles Paul, Murder at Midnight was directed by Anton M. Leader.
The world, as we all know, is round, and therefore each journey we take must, in the end, bring us back to where we began. The geographers discovered this only a scant few hundred years ago, but the philosophers always knew it. For all philosophy is a journey into the unknown. And at the journey's end, the philosopher, like all other travelers, must come back again. As the book tells us, there is nothing new under the sun.
What a fantastic battle. Isn't that great? It looks so real. Tremendous writing and acting and direction. I told you tonight, it's the greatest show ever. That man, right there on the left there, over there on the screen. Look, he's been hit. You can see the blood on his face. And now he drops. That's a beautiful performance. Nah, he's not such a hot actor. Oh, to play a death scene like that? Playing? How can you say he's playing? You know all these guys are really being killed. Killed? But this is just a feature film, isn't it? Sure. Are you telling me that the actors died? For real? How can you get them to do that? Well, pal, that's showbiz.
Our mystery drama, There Is No Business Like, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dan and stars Howard Da Silva. We have always reached for the stars. We have always dreamed of breaking the barriers of time and space. And as the years have gone by, what has seemed fantasy has slowly been approaching reality. In this generation, man is no longer earthbound. He has already broken the umbilical cord that has tied him to this planet. And soon, he shall cut the bonds that have imprisoned him in this time. A man named Roger Starrett has already done it. Or so he says.
Of course, no one believes me. I suppose it would be different if I could get the machine to work. But the trouble is, you see, the circuits were destroyed as I was getting back. And so it's gone. Well, it's not really gone, but the basic circuits no longer exist, and I can't seem to remember how Prescott designed them originally. Anyhow, Prescott is dead now, and he was the scientist. You see, he died as soon as we arrived there.
Arrived where, Mr. Starrett?
There, Doctor.
And where is there?
Well, as far as I can make out, it was somewhere in our own country in the future.
The future? And you claim a person named Arthur Prescott was with you?
Yes. He died when we got there. But they didn't believe me.
Who?
The other people, the people in the future. I explained it to the censor.
The censor?
I guess that's what they call their judges. Well, that's what a judge is, actually. And she didn't believe me.
She?
The censor. She reminds me of you. That is, you both keep asking the same questions, and neither of you believe me. And you have the same voice. I'm so tired.
Mr. Starrett, please trust me. I want to help you.
But why are you keeping me in this place? Why do you think I'm insane?
I never said that.
Do you have to say it? Isn't it obvious?
Now tell me again what you were trying...
I've told you 1,000,000 times.
Yes, but you never told it completely to me.
Oh, let me alone. Nobody believes me anyhow. I should have stayed there. I was getting pretty good with a gun. I could have lived indefinitely. Do you know why? Because I was born to act. It's my true talent.
But according to your records, you're a machinist.
Yes, but acting was an undiscovered talent until I needed it. Suddenly, at the age of 40, I discovered I was an actor.
But what does acting have to do with what...
Showbiz. When I arrived there, I was sentenced to it.
Sentenced to showbiz?
For murder. You see, they thought I murdered Arthur Prescott.
And for that, you were sentenced to showbiz? Now, excuse me, Mr. Starrett, but do we mean the same thing by showbiz?
Sure, showbiz. You know what showbiz is. Entertainment. Theater, movies, radio, TV. Show business.
And you say you were sentenced to it?
Oh, yes. They used that in the future where I was, instead of prison.
Ah, I see.
Oh, no. Don't say you see, because you don't see. You don't have the faintest idea of what I'm talking about, and you know it.
Well, I
You want me to trust you, but how can I? You think I'm crazy. How can you possibly understand what I'm saying?
I'm trying. Now, according to the police, you and someone named Arthur Prescott worked on this time machine.
Prescott was a mathematical genius. I mean, he knew all about the formulas and so forth.
And you?
Me? Well, I can make just about everything. Just give me the right tools. So we were a great team.
Mm-hmm. And you claim you constructed this time machine?
Oh, yeah. His brain, my hands. We did it.
And then?
When it was finished and I checked it out, I discovered there was bad news for Prescott.
Oh, what kind of bad news?
He shouldn't go.
Why not?
He was too frail, too sickly. You see, the point where the past, present, and future kind of mix and match, and where you break out of whatever phase you're in, is very turbulent, very violent.
And you thought it would be too much for Prescott?
Yeah, but he insisted. And we got into the machine and got ready for takeoff or whatever. And things started to happen. I guess he didn't fasten his belt protector securely enough. He was hurled against the wall, and that's how he hit his head, and that's how he died. I must have passed out, too, because when I recovered, I was in something that looked like a cell. And there was a woman who looked something like you.
What is your name?
My name is Roger Starrett.
Which is it, Roger or Starrett?
I said it was Roger Starrett.
I would advise you that you are on trial for your life.
My life? What did I do?
The charges against you will be stated in due course.
Where am I?
You know where you are. In an auditioning studio.
Please, you must help me.
Your name?
I told you, Roger Starrett.
No one in our society has two names.
Our society? What society is this? Oh, good Lord. I remember. The time machine.
The time machine? Oh, that's what it was.
Yes. You mean we succeeded? We actually went forward in time?
Is that the premise of your program?
We started out in 1976. What year is this?
Are you licensed to devise entertainment programs?
Licensed?
Of course not. That is another charge against you. A very serious charge. Even more serious than murder.
What murder?
A man was with you in that metal globe. He was killed by a blow on the head. Why did you kill him?
I didn't kill him. It was an accident.
An accident? Do not lie to me. I want to help you.
But it's true.
A lie will only result in your being sentenced to showbiz. Do you want that?
Please.
Tell your story.
Okay. A man named Arthur Prescott and I...
Why do you insist on giving him two names?
Because everybody has at least two names where I come from.
Where do you claim to come from?
The United States.
Where are your personal papers?
They were in my wallet, but it's gone.
We read those fake documents.
They're not fake documents.
Continue.
We built this time machine. It brought us here, wherever here is, and Arthur hit his head against the wall of the machine, and that's how he died. And here I am, and that's the truth.
Very well. You were given an opportunity to defend yourself. I shall now deliver my verdict.
Verdict?
We shall call you Roger. You're charged with the following, in order of importance. First, designing an entertainment without a license.
An entertainment?
The time machine fancy. A much overdone cliche. Second, carrying false papers.
But that's my Social Security card, my driver's license.
Third, murder.
But I didn't...
And therefore, you will serve a minimum of 15 years in showbiz. You are sentenced to become a member of the cast of Killers and Cops.
But
There is no appeal from the verdict. I, the censor, have spoken.
After a while, a man came by. He was kind of short and stout and good-natured. He wore large-sized metal-rimmed spectacles.
Hello, Fitch. Glasses is the name.
Glasses?
Sure. Because I wear these cheaters. It's my public image. Let's go.
Go where?
Over to the Killer Cop Motel, where we eat, drink, and make merry, because tomorrow night we may die. Let's move, Fish.
Why do you call me Fish?
Oh, I'm in with the writers. One of them's a chick. She's got a thing for me. So I romance her along. It's a great way to keep alive.
I don't understand.
What's not to understand?
You know what I think? I think I'm dreaming.
Yeah. The word's out. You're either a little bit of a loon, or maybe it's like amnesia, huh? Look, the writer's already got your character figured out.
But I...
Yeah. You're a fish. Like you come and go quiet as a fish. And you leave no more trail than a fish moving through the water. Ain't that a concept, huh? What's your sentence?
15 years.
She's got to be kidding, that censor. Who can live 15 years in showbiz? Tried the pool yet?
No, I'm just trying to figure out...
Figure out what?
Oh, everything. Where am I?
Oh, you're a cool character.
What year is this?
Okay, I'll go along with you. 2076.
2076? Are you telling me the truth?
Why would I lie?
2076?
Well, what's the punchline?
I don't know what to think, what to say.
It could be worse. Now, the trick is to go for one of the writers. That's how to make sure you live longer.
I wish I knew what you were talking about.
Here comes Baby now.
Baby?
Yeah, my meal ticket. I should say, my life preserver. Not too bad, huh?
Hi, glasses. Is this Fish?
You just hooked him, baby. Fish, say hello to Baby.
Hi, Fish. Think you'll like it here?
I don't know what it's all about.
I thought we'd get acquainted. You're my character.
I thought I was your character, baby.
The censor assigned me Fish. Oh, it's just about that time.
What time, baby?
Time to look at the special. I get a credit on that.
Good for you.
We're going all the way back to World War II, back to 1940-something. There was a battle of the Bulge. We're staging it.
Wow.
We have 700 in this big secret.
700?
Turn it on. Use the big screen. We missed the titles. The opening. Those are tanks. German tanks moving toward Bastogne. See, I start with a long shot. Now, you see the guns on those tanks start moving as if they're searching for the targets. The targets of human beings.
Baby, it's gotta be a masterpiece.
And now, suddenly, we're in the full fury of the fight. Bam! Tap! Close up.
Face to face. Nobody calls it the way you can. What do you say?
It's great. It's a great theater.
Yeah, look at the movement in her directing. The rhythm she gets.
Here. There's a guy on the left hand of the screen. In the middle distance. We'll close up on him in just a few seconds. He's about to step on a mine. Watch it.
Yeah, that's it. Look at his face.
The mine just blew off his leg. See how he caught his face like he can't believe it. He just can't believe it. Now he drops. Sheer poetic beauty in the motion as he falls slowly, gently like a rose petal fluttering to the ground.
Baby, when you describe it, a guy could cry.
As he tries to support himself on the leg that is no longer there, comes death. Death is the only comfort to soothe his sorrow.
How do you get that effect?
What effect?
The effect of his leg being blown off and then his dying. How is that done?
Oh, Irene, how is it done?
It's done with a modified landmine.
You mean you actually blew his leg off? And what I'm looking at, these men are actually being killed?
Well, what did you think?
Where you been, Fish?
But that's
showbiz, Fish. That's showbiz.
About which it is said, there is no business like. But there has never been show business like this one. Oh, well, yes, there has. Think back. The gladiators in the Roman arenas. They were showbiz, weren't they? So you see, the more things change, the more they remain the same. I'll be back shortly with Act 2. Realism. That's the thing today. We want real life in our theater. We want real situations that involve real people. Isn't that so? Well, we're listening to a story that is supposed to be taking place in the future, where realism seems to be very much a part of the day. Not only are the situations real and the people real, but real things actually happen right before you on the screen.
Are you telling me, Mr. Starrett, that in the show business, in that future time you claimed to have visited...
I did visit there. I was there.
The actors actually died?
They actually did whatever you saw them do, Doctor. They were eaten by sharks, by wild animals. They drowned. They starved. They died in the operating room. Whatever the story called for.
There must have been many dead actors.
You think of all those shows, I would say easily 100 would be killed each week.
But where did they find so many actors?
Well, they weren't really actors. They were just convicts.
Convicts?
Well, what I mean is, Doctor, they were convicted of crimes.
Serious crimes must have been very prevalent in that future world.
Serious? Anything was serious. You said something bad about your superior. That was serious. You had it. You were in showbiz.
Well, what kind of superiors are you talking about?
The superiors ran everything, and everybody worked for them. It was kind of a drab place, you know?
Drab?
Well, everybody had to work, keep their mouths shut, and do as they were told. That's why they had this exciting showbiz, so that you could keep the masses quiet. But I didn't know that until later. Anyhow, a few days later, I was at the pool.
Hi, sis.
Hi, baby. Glasses isn't here.
I see that.
He said he was going down to the range. He wanted to practice pistol shooting some more.
I would say he needs it.
Should I tell him you were asking for him?
But I wasn't asking for him.
No?
I dropped around to see you.
Me?
Yep. You're on tonight.
That's right.
I would like to give you a word of advice. The script calls for you to be watching the action from a street corner phone booth, a typical 20th century locale. You see...
I think so.
Now, when you hear the first police car coming along, just step out of the booth.
Step out of the booth?
Yeah, there'll be a doorway. Just move inside it.
Any reason?
There are going to be a lot of bullets flying around, and I don't want you to get killed your first time out.
Oh, it's very nice of you, baby.
Do you know why I'm being nice to you? It's because I want you to be nice to me.
Oh? I thought you belonged to Glasses.
I don't think you have that quite right. I don't belong to anybody. But all of you on the show belong to me.
Hi. Can I see you for a minute, Fish? I mean, if I'm not bothering you or anything.
It's okay, Glasses. Come on in.
I want you to do me a favor.
Sure, if I can.
I always treated you right? I give you tips on everything. I help you along.
What do you want?
Put in a word for me. I mean, with Baby.
What kind of word?
Don't play stupid with me. She goes for you, I know. She dropped me the minute you came in sight.
Glasses, it's not because of anything I did.
I know. I wasn't the one who made a play for her the first time either. She decides. She picks out who she wants. And when she gets tired of him, look, I don't care, except...
Except what?
Except she doesn't like a guy to hang around after she gives him the gate. See what I mean? So she writes him out of the script. And you know what happens then?
Yes, I know.
Yeah. So, could you put in a good word for me? You might tell her I give the show a lot of comedy.
You do, Glasses. You really do.
Tell her that. I'm not just asking this for myself, but for you, too.
For me?
Your day's gonna come. It'll have to. She'll get bored with you, and some new guy'll come along, and... So, if we can manage to set a precedent...
What kind of precedent?
Well, we could make her realize she don't have to kill a guy just because she wants to drop him. Promise you'll try.
He does give the show a lot of comedy.
Let me worry about that.
Well, I'm only trying to help.
Put your arm around me, Fish. Listen to that music. Oh, honey, I know you're scared. But baby here's going to look out for you. I'll keep you alive, sweetie. Just trust baby. I'll say you trust me.
Baby, I'm only trying
Don't try to help Glasses.
But he's a good friend of mine.
I'm the only friend you've got. You're in showbiz, and don't forget it. You'll have to kill him.
Me? Kill Glasses?
Tonight, he's going to try to kill you.
But he wouldn't.
Why not?
Well,
First of all, he's madly in love with me.
Yes, but that's
He hates you because you took me away from him. Second, the lead on Killers and Cops is up for grabs. Sarge was wiped out last week. The two most popular cops are you and Glasses. Now, Gorilla and Glasses are great pals.
Gorilla?
He's the hood you're going to have to capture tonight. You and Glasses are going to have him trapped. Glasses has already worked it out with him. He won't shoot at Gorilla.
But the script says he's supposed to cover me.
So his pistol will misfire. Just wait and see. That gives Gorilla a clear shot at you. And you're dead. Dead. Now, here's what you have to do, sweetie. Fire what looks to be a wild shot and kill Glasses by mistake. Then radio back for help in capturing Gorilla.
I find it hard to believe that Glasses
You
would...
better believe it. And now, give baby a great big kiss.
Okay, Gorilla. We know you're in there. Come on with your hands up. No good, Fish. We'll have to go in after.
Listen, why don't we get on the radio and call in for help?
Why? Because that ain't in the script.
But it makes sense, doesn't it?
It ain't in the script.
But if we go after him ourselves, both of us can get killed.
That's showbiz.
Well, if that's the way you want it.
The way to keep alive, the best way to keep alive, the percentage way, is to follow the script.
Okay.
The script calls for you to move toward the door of the house, and I cover you.
Okay, let's do it.
Go ahead. And Fish, good luck.
Gorilla, this is your last chance. Okay, Glasses, I'll be moving in along the wall. Now, cover me. Here I go.
You didn't kill him, Fish. You didn't kill Glasses.
I couldn't.
I knew that, so I told Gorilla to make sure to get him.
You told Gorilla?
I told Gorilla I knew about the little deal he'd made with Glasses. I don't mind you boys having your little intrigues, but when I want something done, I want to be obeyed. So Gorilla very obligingly shot Glasses for me.
I never killed anybody in my life.
Oh, come on. That guy they found you with in that phony-looking spaceship?
But I explained how that happened.
Yeah, well, you better learn how to kill.
I don't know if I can.
You'll have to kill to keep alive.
And did you kill?
Yes, Dr. Simon. I killed. I learned how, and I became popular. There were fan clubs. I received mail. I was a hero. And then one day, something happened. I was sent to the cell, and it was the same cell where I had been tried. And my assignment was to pick up a new member of the Killers and Cops cast, somebody who had just been sentenced to showbiz. All right, if you're ready, let's go.
I refuse.
That won't do any good.
I refuse to kill.
I know how you feel.
You? Why, you're the most bloodthirsty, vicious...
What were you sentenced for?
Something you would never understand.
Try me.
Protest. Social protest. I want people to rise up and change their drab and dismal, suffocating lives. To think for themselves.
All right, let's go, Brain.
Brain?
That's right. The writer has already figured out how to use you. You're going to be a brain. A kind of thinking machine who figures everything out intellectually and scientifically. If you'd like to have lunch now, Brain, we can have it served right here at the pool.
99% of the people in this country can hardly make ends meet, and you live in such luxury.
You too, Brain. From now on, you too.
But it's not right.
Never mind that. Get to know everybody in the company. We try not to kill each other, except when she insists.
Hi, sister.
Hi. Hi, baby. Meet Brain.
That's just what I came down for, to get acquainted. You're my character, Brain.
I thought I was your character, baby.
The censor assigned Brain to me. Now, what am I going to do with you?
Oh, with a name like Brain, he might make a good guy to keep in the office. Who doesn't get out in the street. And suddenly I realized what I was doing. I was begging for my life, just as Glasses had been pleading for his when she met me for the first time. Because I saw what Glasses must have seen. That baby's eyes were now for the new man, which meant that the old one would not be long for this world. And a chill went through me. What was I going to do?
She's right. Baby's 100% right. A writer is truly a god. He, in this case, creates a world and everyone in it, and gives them life and love and death, purely as whim or mood or fancy may direct. But what happens when a writer is not restricted to the printed page, but is allowed to play God in a real world? The answer, if there is an answer, will be forthcoming in Act 3. Ancient Rome had her gladiators who fought to the death, her lions and tigers who hunted human prey in the sands of the arena. Her vast Colosseum could be flooded with water to float war galleys that could stage real sea fights, and the public ate it up. Now, sometime in the future, it seems, a jaded public demands the same kind of thrills. Well, that's showbiz.
Hi, Fish.
Hi, baby.
I want to talk to you about tonight's script. I took your advice about Brain.
You did?
Yeah. He never leaves the office. His brain works like a computer. Feed him the facts, and you can almost see his brain batting out the answers. Great?
Great.
Now, he figures out where this gang of smugglers has to be hiding. He gives you the information. You decide to go after them single-handed.
I too? Why?
Well, it's obvious. You see, you're the fish.
Yes?
The fish that swims alone, silently, never leaving a trace. Deadly like a shark. The lone shark.
How many smugglers are there?
5 of them.
And where will they be hiding?
Oh, it's in the script.
Could I read the script?
Sure. But why? I just told you what happened.
Well, I'd like to read it.
You're the first actor who ever wanted to read a script. Okay, Fish. They're in that building down the block. You see it?
I see it.
Now, the minute you walk across the street, the cameras begin to roll.
All right.
Goodbye, Fish.
Well, why don't we just say au revoir?
Huh?
See you around.
Okay. Run! Fish! Fish! What are you doing?
What was I doing? Doctor, I can tell you what I was doing. She never caught on. I just didn't accept the script the way all the others did. I studied it, and I prepared for it. I figured out the fight with the smugglers in advance. I just didn't let it happen. The smugglers were going to get at me from 2 sides. So I tossed a hand grenade at one group, then I used tear gas on the others. And I was able to finish them off.
But surely, Mr. Starrett, you couldn't keep doing this indefinitely.
Yes, Doctor, I could. You have to understand the people I was up against. They were mostly beaten and defeated to begin with, scared. And they didn't really know how to think.
Why not?
Because all their thinking had always been done for them. It was a terrible world. I never got out into it because, well, actually, I was a prisoner. But I passed through it. In a limousine, when we'd go from one location to another, and driving through the city, I'd look around, and you know what it seemed like?
Yes?
It seemed like the pictures we see of those dictatorship countries, drab, dull, and people who don't seem to have much fun, and crowded. There just wasn't room for everything. Masses of people and buildings, one on top of the other.
And there's nothing more you can really tell us about this future world?
Baby said it. She said it was the old story. Feed 'em bread in circuses, and you keep 'em in line.
And you were part of the circus.
I got to be the whole circus after a while. My exploits, you wouldn't believe some of them. I can hardly believe it myself. Single-handedly, I wiped out whole gangs. I destroyed entire mobs.
How could you keep doing it?
I told you, I planned it in advance. I prepared the ground. There was a girl in the prop department. I could get her to fix the guns the killers would be armed with. Little things. Lots of little things.
But sooner or later, your luck would have to run out.
It did. One day I was called in to see the boss. The real boss. I mean, the censor.
Hi, Fish.
Hi, censor.
Your writer, Baby, has just created a special.
Yes?
A World War II special. She has asked permission for you to star in it.
Oh, but I'm just doing fine on the Killers and Cops series.
Not really.
But the ratings...
They're falling.
It's the most popular show on.
You're becoming a bore. Too predictable. You always win. We can't have that.
Why not?
Because you represent the establishment.
Well, even so, it's a great show.
And the people hate the establishment.
But that's treason.
Of course. And so, rather than have them do something about it, we must give them a chance to express themselves vicariously. Therefore, occasionally, the establishment must lose.
What am I supposed to do now?
World War II still exerts a peculiar fascination. Some time ago, Baby created the Battle of the Bulge. But now she's done something even bloodier. The Battle of Casino.
But my image is of a cop.
Your image is of an actor. You are believable in anything.
But
This meeting is adjourned. And this is the battlefield, this long, rocky hillside. Up there is the replica of the monastery. Let me show you where your detachment will be ambushed.
This time, I don't see how you can fail to kill me, baby.
Fish, what a way to talk. I never want to kill any of my actors.
Artillery, machine gun fired mines. You're going to get me this time.
Believe me, Fish, I want you to make it. I'm going to pray for you.
Maybe you'd better pray for yourself.
For myself? Why?
Well, you could be in trouble, too.
Me? I'm top writer.
How long do you stay on top in showbiz?
Nobody has to worry about me.
I worry about you, baby.
You do? Why?
You were my first girl.
Oh, sure.
My first girl in this world.
Oh, you're back to that I come from another world business?
It's true.
Oh, sure.
Do you know where my time machine is?
In the museum.
I'm not allowed to go out into the world alone, baby, but you could take me there.
Why would I want to do that?
I could prove to you that it's legitimate.
Oh, sure.
Baby, you'll need a great new show.
Why, I've got 2 great shows now. Killers and Cops and my new special.
Killers and Cops is going to die.
Why?
Because it's losing the lead. Me.
What makes you think you're so
I'm too much part of that show. What other actor has ever lasted on any show for as long as a year? Even 6 months. The show is dead without me. And this special is going to be a turkey.
How do you know?
Because you're due. You're too successful. You'll have enemies.
So we are.
The Battle of the Bulge had excitement. It had intrigue. Casino, what was it? Just a slugging up a mountainside. Has all the suspense and excitement of a slaughterhouse. So they'll all say, baby's lost her touch. But my way...
What do you mean, your way?
A great new show about a time machine.
It proves what you know. That old turkey's been done to death.
Because it was a phony. Mine is a real time machine.
Oh, sure. Sure, you're just trying to get out of the Battle of Casino because you're scared.
You're the one who should be scared. You need a time machine show. What a great hit. Look, we call it the Parade of the Worlds.
Who gets killed?
Suddenly, we were the charge of the Light Brigade. All of them get killed.
Hey, that would be something. And you know what else? We could push people out into the Roman Colosseum, right into the middle of the lions, or go way, way back and let people loose in one of those prehistoric jungles among the dinosaurs. Oh, yes. There are possibilities.
I knew you'd see them.
The trouble is, how do we get to that machine?
But you said it was in the museum.
Yeah, but we need special permission, and nobody ever gets that.
Not even you?
Not even me.
Oh, we can lick that.
Even so, what good does it do us to get to the machine?
To prove it's real. They think it's a fake. But once we show them...
You could be right. How do we get to it?
Well, I still have one more show to do on killers and cops. Now, why don't you have the action take place in the museum? You get these crooks who are out to steal...
Say no more, Fish. All circuits are go. The script calls for you to park right in front of the museum. Now, this time you're disguised as the curator. Now, we go inside.
We?
I'm going to act in this one, too.
No, but...
You see, Fish, in case it's on the level, if it's really a time machine, what's to stop you from stepping inside and saying goodbye forever?
Oh, but I promise you...
So I'll hold this gun on you at all times. The gun you gave me is no good. I checked. It's loaded with blanks. That little prop girl. I rearranged things after she went home.
Well, what can I tell you?
Nice try. We arrive... Pull over. The cameras will roll the minute we step out of the car.
How can we walk up like this? The crooks could just pick us off.
There are no crooks.
There aren't any.
Keep walking and do as I tell you. Now, all we have to do to go forward is throw this switch.
That's all there is to it. But why are there no crooks?
I rewrote the script. The plot is for you to take me into this museum to show how you can use a time machine to catch crooks. Once in here, I kill you.
Why do you want to kill me now?
Because I don't want to share writer's credit on your new idea. This machine works. That means you created a show.
But I don't have a license.
You're with me. It means I accepted you as a collaborator. You're now a writer. Well, before that happens... Both of you, step out. It's the censor. Both of you have broken the law.
Let's escape.
Step out. No.
We'll be killed for this.
In this world, you get killed sooner or later anyhow. Does it matter when?
Yes, it matters to me.
Step out. You heard her. Step out of the machine.
No.
It's an order.
So what? Let's get out of this world.
I can't.
Do you want to die?
I can't disobey an order. That's how it is. That's how we're trained. You wouldn't understand. You're not from here now. I know it.
I'm going back home.
No, you're not. Touch that switch and I'll shoot.
You're crazy.
Let go of me.
Let the gun fall to the ground.
I'll kill you. You're disobeying the censor. I have to kill you. Both of you, step out. Machine gunners, flamethrowers, be ready to destroy them.
That's how it happened, Doctor. That's why she's dead. The gun went off and it killed her.
Yes?
It's the truth, Doctor, the truth. The censor ordered her police to fire at us, but I'd already pulled the switch. But one of the flamethrowers, He hit the wall before we could get out of there, and it fused all the circuits together, which is why I can't show you how the machine works.
And that's your story?
Yes, Doctor.
That's how you claim the woman was killed?
Baby, I had to kill her in self-defense.
I see. Orderly, take Mr. Starrett back to his room.
You mean so?
We'll talk again tomorrow, Mr. Starrett.
But I'm not crazy, Doctor. I'm not a homicidal maniac.
Please, go quietly, Mr. Starrett. It's important for you to try to maintain your equilibrium. Orderly? Dr. Paris, this is Dr. Simon. This, Roger Starrett now, he's completely insane. I think he has to be institutionalized for just about the rest of his life. I know it's a pity, but that's showbiz.
And, of course, there's no business quite like it. What happened to Roger Starrett? Well, he has become a character on a show you have just experienced. And during your lifetime, you will witness thousands of shows on which people come and go. They arrive from nowhere and return to oblivion. However, I shall return right here in just a few moments. One day soon, you will attend a show, you will see a play on a stage or a screen, or hear it on a radio, and the plot will call for someone to die, and the actor, accordingly, falls down dead. But you know that after the curtain comes down, that actor will rise up again, a living being. But what about the character? For a brief interval in time, he had life, too. Is he dead? Well, that question should hold you until tomorrow. Our cast included Howard Da Silva, Joan Loring, Robert Dryden, and Bryna Rayburn. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown.
And now, a preview of our next tale.
So you see, my dear, we're talking about at least $3 million.
And that's why you hired me. So I could cheat Mr. Gillespie.
Oh, now, cheat is a harsh word.
But it's true. And what will you do with me afterwards?
Why, we shall give you your share.
Won't you just kill me the way you killed everybody else?
We killed the others because they forced our hand. Give us no motive, and we'll let you live.
Aren't you afraid I'll go to the police?
No, because we will have evidence to show that you were the one who poisoned Mrs. Daimler.
But that's a lie. Oh, I don't want any part of it.
Oh, my dear Miss Watson, what are we proposing? Only to make you fabulously wealthy. Why are you being so difficult about it?
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. What I Saw in America by G.K. Chesterton. Section 13, Chapter 7, Part 1. The American Businessman. It is a commonplace that men are all agreed in using symbols, and all differ about the meaning of the symbols. It is obvious that a Russian Republican might come to identify the eagle as a bird of empire, and therefore a bird of prey. But when he ultimately escaped to the land of the free, he might find the same bird on the American coinage, figuring as a bird of freedom. Doubtless he might find many other things to surprise him in the land of the free, and many calculated to make him think that the bird, if not imperial, was at least rather imperious. But I am not discussing those exceptional details here. It is equally obvious that a Russian reactionary might cross the world with a vow of vengeance against the red flag, but that authoritarian might have some difficulties with the authorities if he shot a man for using the red flag on the railway between Williston and Clapham Junction. But of course the difficulty about symbols is generally much more subtle than in these simple cases. I have remarked elsewhere that the first thing which a traveller should write about is the thing which he has not read about. It may be a small or a secondary thing, but it is a thing that he has seen and not merely expected to see. I gave the example of the great multitude of wooden houses in America. We might say of wooden towns and wooden cities. But after he has seen such things, his next duty is to see the meaning of them. And here a great deal of complication and controversy is possible. The thing probably does not mean what he first supposes it to mean on the face of it. But even on the face of it, it might mean many different and even opposite things. For instance, a wooden house might suggest an almost savage solitude, a rude shanty put together by a pioneer in a forest. Or it might mean a very recent and rapid solution of the housing problem, conducted cheaply and therefore on a very large scale. A wooden house might suggest the very newest thing in America, or one of the very oldest things in England. It might mean a grey ruin at Stratford, or a white exhibition at Earl's Court. It is when we come to this interpretation of international symbols that we make most of the international mistakes. Without the smallest error of detail, I will promise to prove that Oriental women are independent because they wear trousers, or Oriental men subject because they wear skirts. Merely to apply it to this case, I will take the example of two very commonplace and trivial objects of modern life, a walking stick and a fur coat. As it happened, I travelled about America with two sticks, like a Japanese nobleman with his two swords. I fear the simile is too stately. I bore more resemblance to a cripple with two crutches, or a highly ineffectual version of the devil on two sticks. I carried them both because I valued them both and did not wish to risk losing either of them in my erratic travels. One is a very plain grey stick from the woods of Buckinghamshire, but as I took it with me to Palestine, it partakes of the character of a pilgrim's staff. When I can say that I have taken the same stick to Jerusalem and to Chicago, I think the stick and I may both have a rest. The other, which I value even more, was given me by the Knights of Columbus at Yale, and I wish I could think that their chivalric title allowed me to regard it as a sword. Now I do not know whether the Americans I met, struck by the fastidious foppery of my dress and appearance, concluded that it is the custom of elegant English dandies to carry two walking sticks. But I do know that it is much less common among Americans than among Englishmen to carry even one. The point, however, is not merely that more sticks are carried by Englishmen than by Americans. It is that the sticks which are carried by Americans stand for something entirely different. In America, a stick is commonly called a cane, and it has about it something of the atmosphere which the poet described as the nice conduct of the clouded cane. It would be an exaggeration to say that when the citizens of the United States see a man carrying a light stick, they deduce that if he does that, he does nothing else. But there is about it a faint flavour of luxury and lounging, and most of the energetic citizens of this energetic society avoid it by instinct. Now, in an Englishman like myself, carrying a stick may imply lounging, but it does not imply luxury, and I can say with some firmness that it does not imply dandyism. In a great many Englishmen it means the very opposite even of lounging. By one of those fantastic paradoxes which are the mystery of nationality, a walking stick often actually means walking. It frequently suggests the very reverse of the beau with his clouded cane. It does not suggest a town type, but rather specially a country type. It rather implies the kind of Englishman who tramps about in lanes and meadows and knocks the tops off thistles. It suggests the sort of man who has carried the stick through his native woods, and perhaps even cut it in his native woods. There are plenty of these vigorous loungers, no doubt, in the rural parts of America, but the idea of a walking stick would not especially suggest them to Americans. It would not call up such figures like a fairy wand. It would be easy to trace back the difference to many English origins, possibly to aristocratic origins, to the idea of the old squire, a man vigorous and even rustic, but trained to hold a useless staff rather than a useful tool. It might be suggested that American citizens do at least so far love freedom as to like to have their hands free. It might be suggested, on the other hand, that they keep their hands for the handles of many machines, and that the hand on a handle is less free than the hand on a stick or even a tool. But these again are controversial questions, and I am only noting a fact. If an Englishman wished to imagine more or less exactly what the impression is and how misleading it is, he could find something like a parallel in what he himself feels about a fur coat. When I first found myself among the crowds on the main floor of a New York hotel, my rather exaggerated impression of the luxury of the place was largely produced by the number of men in fur coats, and what we should consider rather ostentatious fur coats, with all the fur outside. Now, an Englishman has a number of atmospheric but largely accidental associations in connection with a fur coat. I will not say that he thinks a man in a fur coat must be wealthy and wicked man, but I do say that in his own ideal and perfect vision a wealthy and wicked man would wear a fur coat. Thus I had the sensation of standing in a surging mob of American millionaires, or even African millionaires, for the millionaires of Chicago must be like the Knights of the Round Table compared with the millionaires of Johannesburg. But as a matter of fact, the man in the fur coat was not even an American millionaire, but simply an American. It did not signify luxury, but rather necessity, and even a harsh and almost heroic necessity. Orson probably wore a fur coat, and he was brought up by bears, but not the bears of Wall Street. Eskimos are generally represented as furry folk, but they are not necessarily engaged in delicate financial operations, even in the typical and appropriate occupation called freezing out. And if the American is not exactly an Arctic traveller rushing from pole to pole, at least he is often literally fleeing from ice to ice. He has to make a very extreme distinction between outdoor and indoor clothing. He has to live in an ice house outside and a hot house inside, so hot that he may be said to construct an ice house inside that. He turns himself into an ice house and warms himself against the cold until he is warm enough to eat ices. But the point is that the same coat of fur which in England would indicate the sybarite life may here very well indicate the strenuous life, just as the same walking stick which would here suggest a lounger would in England suggest a plodder and almost a pilgrim. And these two trifles are types which I should like to put by way of proviso and apology at the very beginning of any attempt at a record of any impression of foreign society. They serve merely to illustrate the most important impression of all, the impression of how false all impressions may be. I suspect that most of the very false impressions have come from the careful record of very true facts. They have come from the fatal power of observing the facts without being able to observe the truth. They came from seeing the symbol with the most vivid clarity and being blind to all that it symbolizes. It is as if a man who knew no Greek should imagine that he could read a Greek inscription because he took the Greek R for an English P, or the Greek long E for an English H. I do not mention this merely as a criticism on other people's impressions of America, but as a criticism on my own. I wish it to be understood that I am well aware that all my views are subject to this sort of potential criticism, and that even when I am certain of the facts, I do not profess to be certain of the deductions. In this chapter I hope to point out how a misunderstanding of this kind affects the common impression, not altogether unfounded, that the Americans talk about dollars. But for the moment I am merely anxious to avoid a similar misunderstanding when I talk about Americans, about the dogmas of democracy, about the right of a people to own its symbols, whether they be coins or customs. I am convinced and no longer to be shaken. But about the meaning of those symbols, in silver or other substances, I am always open to correction. That error is the price we pay for the great glory of nationality, and in this sense I am quite ready at the start to warn my own readers against my own opinions. The fact without the truth is futile. Indeed, the fact without the truth is false. I have already noted that this is especially true touching our observations of a strange country, and it is certainly true touching one small fact which has swelled into a large fable. I mean the fable about America commonly summed up in the phrase about the almighty dollar. I do not think the dollar is almighty in America. I fancy many things are mightier, including many ideals, and some rather insane ideals. But I think it might be maintained that the dollar has another of the attributes of deity. If it is not omnipotent, it is in a sense omnipresent. Whatever Americans think about dollars, it is, I think, relatively true that they talk about dollars. If a mere mechanical record could be taken by the modern machinery of dictaphones and stenography, I do not think it probable that the mere word dollars would occur more often in any given number of American conversations than the mere word pounds or shillings in a similar number of English conversations. And these statistics, like nearly all statistics, would be utterly useless and even fundamentally false. It is as if we should calculate that the word elephant had been mentioned a certain number of times in a particular London street, or so many times more often than the word thunderbolt had been used in Stokes Pogues. Doubtless there are statisticians capable of collecting those statistics also, and doubtless there are scientific social reformers capable of legislating on the basis of them. They would probably argue from the elephantine imagery of the London street that such and such a percentage of the householders were megalomaniacs, and require medical care and police coercion. And doubtless their calculations, like nearly all such calculations, would leave out the only important point, as that street was in the immediate neighbourhood of the Zoo, or was yet more happily situated under the benignant shadow of the Elephant and Castle. And in the same way the mechanical calculation about the mention of dollars is entirely useless unless we have some moral understanding of why they are mentioned. It certainly does not mean merely a love of money, and if it did, a love of money may mean a great many very different and even contrary things. The love of money is very different in a peasant or in a pirate, in a miser or in a gambler, in a great financier or in a man doing some practical and productive work. Now this difference in the conversation of American and English businessmen arises, I think, from certain much deeper things in the American which are generally not understood by the Englishman. It also arises from much deeper things in the Englishman, of which the Englishman is even more ignorant. To begin with, I fancy that the American, quite apart from any love of money, has a great love of measurement. He will mention the exact size or weight of things in a way which appears to us as irrelevant. It is as if we were to say that a man came to see us carrying 3 feet of walking stick and 4 inches of cigar. It is so in cases that have no possible connection with any avarice or greed for gain. An American will praise the prodigal generosity of some other man in giving up his own estate for the good of the poor, but he will generally say that the philanthropist gave them a 200-acre park, where an Englishman would think it quite sufficient to say that he gave them a park. There is something about this precision which seems suitable to the American atmosphere, to the hard sunlight and the cloudless skies, and the glittering detail of the architecture and the landscape, just as the vaguer English version is consonant to our mistier and more impressionist scenery. It is also connected perhaps with something more boyish about the younger civilization, and corresponds to the passionate particularity with which a boy will distinguish the uniforms of regiments, the rigs of ships, or even the colours of tram tickets. It is a certain godlike appetite for things, as distinct from thoughts. The end of Section 13, Chapter 7, Part 1. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. What I Saw in America by G.K. Chesterton. Section 14, Chapter 7, Part 2. The American Businessman. But there is also, of course, a much deeper cause of the difference, and it can easily be deduced by noting the real nature of the difference itself. When 2 businessmen in a train are talking about dollars, I am not so foolish as to expect them to be talking about the philosophy of St. Thomas Aquinas. But if they were 2 English businessmen, I should not expect them to be talking about business. Probably it would be about some sport, and most probably some sport in which they themselves never dreamed of indulging. The approximate difference is that the American talks about his work and the Englishman about his holidays. His ideal is not labour but leisure. Like every other national characteristic, this is not primarily a point for praise or blame. In essence, it involves neither, and in effect it involves both. It is certainly connected with that snobbishness which is the great sin of English society. The Englishman does love to conceive himself as a sort of country gentleman, and his castles in the air are all castles in Scotland rather than in Spain. For as an ideal, a Scotch castle is as English as a Welsh rarebit or an Irish stew. And if he talks less about money, I fear it is sometimes because, in one sense, he thinks more of it. Money is a mystery in the old and literal sense of something too sacred for speech. Gold is a god, and like the god of some agnostics, has no name and is worshipped only in his works. It is true in a sense that the English gentleman wishes to have enough money to be able to forget it. But it may be questioned whether he does entirely forget it. As against this weakness, the American has succeeded, at the price of a great deal of crudity and clatter, in making general a very real respect for work. He has partly disenchanted the dangerous glamour of the gentleman, and in that sense has achieved some degree of democracy, which is the most difficult achievement in the world. On the other hand, there is a good side to the Englishman's daydream of leisure, and one which the American spirit tends to miss. It may be expressed in the words holiday, or still better in the word hobby. The Englishman, in his character of Robin Hood, really has got 2 strings to his bow. Indeed, the Englishman really is well represented by Robin Hood, for there is always something about him that may literally be called outlawed, in the sense of being extra-legal or outside the rules. A Frenchman said of Browning that his centre was not in the middle, and it may be said of many an Englishman that his heart is not where his treasure is. Browning expressed a very English sentiment when he said, "I like to know a butcher paints, a baker rhymes for his pursuit, candlestick makers much acquaints, his soul with song or haply mute, blows out his brains upon the flute." Stevenson touched on the same insular sentiment when he said that many men he knew, who were meat salesmen to the outward eye, might in the life of contemplation sit with the saints. Now the extraordinary achievement of the American meat salesman is that his poetic enthusiasm can really be for meat sales, not for money, but for meat. An American commercial traveller asked me, with a religious fire in his eyes, whether I did not think that salesmanship could be an art. In England there are many salesmen who are sincerely fond of art, but seldom of the art of salesmanship. Art is with them a hobby, a thing of leisure and liberty. That is why the English traveller talks, if not of art, then of sport. That is why the two city men in the London train, if they are not talking about golf, may be talking about gardening. If they are not talking about dollars or the equivalent of dollars, the reason lies much deeper than any superficial praise or blame touching the desire for wealth. In the English case, at least, it lies very deep in the English spirit. Many of the greatest English things have had this lighter and looser character of a hobby or a holiday experiment. Even a masterpiece has often been a by-product. The works of Shakespeare come out so casually that they can be attributed to the most improbable people, even to Bacon. The sonnets of Shakespeare are picked up afterwards as if out of a waste-paper basket. The immortality of Dr. Johnson does not rest on the written leaves he collected, but entirely on the words he wasted, the words he scattered to the winds. So great a thing as Pickwick is almost a kind of accident. It began as something secondary and grew into something primary and preeminent. It began with mere words written to illustrate somebody else's pictures, and swelled like an epic expanded from an epigram. It might almost be said that in the case of Pickwick the author began as the servant of the artist. But as in the same story of Pickwick, the servant became greater than the master. This incalculable and accidental quality, like all national qualities, has its strength and weaknesses, but it does represent a certain reserve fund of interests in the Englishman's life, and distinguishes him from the other extreme type of the millionaire who works till he drops, or drops because he stops working. It is the great achievement of American civilization that in that country it really is not cant to talk about the dignity of labour. There is something that might almost be called the sanctity of labour. But it is subject to the profound law that when anything less than the highest becomes a sanctity, it tends also to become a superstition. When the candlestick maker does not blow out his brains upon the flute, there is always a danger that he may blow them out somewhere else, owing to depressed conditions in the candlestick market. Now, certainly one of the first impressions of America, or at any rate of New York, which is by no means the same thing as America, is that of a sort of mob of business men behaving in many ways in a fashion very different from that of swarms of London city men who go up every day to the city. They sit about in groups with red Indian gravity as if passing the pipe of peace, though in fact most of them are smoking cigars and some of them are eating cigars. The latter strikes me as one of the most peculiar of transatlantic tastes, more peculiar than that of chewing gum. A man will sit for hours consuming a cigar as if it were a sugar stick, but I should imagine it to be a very disagreeable sugar stick. Why he attempts to enjoy a cigar without lighting it I do not know. Whether it is a more economical way of carrying a mere symbol of commercial conversation, or whether something of the same queer, outlandish morality that draws such a distinction between beer and ginger beer draws an equally ethical distinction between touching tobacco and lighting it. For the rest, it would be easy to make a mere external sketch full of things equally strange, for this can always be done in a strange country. I allow for the fact of all foreigners looking alike, but I fancy that all those hard-featured faces with spectacles and shaven jaws do rather look alike, because they all like to make their faces hard. And with the mention of their mental attitude we realize the futility of any such external sketch. Unless we can see that these are something more than men smoking cigars and talking about dollars, we had much better not see them at all. It is customary to condemn the American as a materialist because of his worship of success. But indeed this very worship, like any worship, even devil worship, proves him rather a mystic than a materialist. The Frenchman who retires from business when he has money enough to drink his wine and eat his omelette in peace might much more plausibly be called a materialist by those who do not prefer to call him a man of sense. But Americans do worship success in the abstract as a sort of ideal vision. They follow success rather than money. They follow money rather than meat and drink. If their national life in one sense is a perpetual game of poker, they are playing excitedly for chips or counters as well as for coins. And by the ultimate test of material enjoyment, like the enjoyment of an omelette, even a coin is itself a counter. The Yankee cannot eat chips as the Frenchman can eat chipped potatoes, but neither can he swallow red cents as the Frenchman swallows red wine. Thus when people say of a Yankee that he worships the dollar, they pay a compliment to his fine spirituality more true and delicate than they imagine. The dollar is an idol because it is an image, but it is an image of success and not of enjoyment. That this romance is also a religion is shown in the fact that there is a queer sort of morality attached to it. The nearest parallel to it is something like the sense of honour in the old duelling days. There is not a material but a distinctly moral savour about the implied obligation to collect dollars or to collect chips. We hear too much in England of the phrase about making good, for no sensible Englishman favours the needless interlarding of English with scraps of foreign languages. But though it means nothing in English, it means something very particular in America. There is a fine shade of distinction between succeeding and making good, precisely because there must always be a sort of ethical echo in the word good. America does vaguely feel a man making good as something analogous to a man being good or a man doing good. It is connected with his serious self-respect and his sense of being worthy of those he loves. Nor is this curious, crude idealism wholly insincere, even when it drives him to what some of us would call stealing, any more than the duellist's honour was insincere when it drove him to what some would call murder. A very clever American play, which I once saw acted, contained a complete working model of this morality. A girl was loyal to, but distressed by, her engagement to a young man on whom there was a sort of cloud of humiliation. The atmosphere was exactly what it would have been in England if he had been accused of cowardice or card-sharping. And there was nothing whatever the matter with the poor young man except that some rotten mine or other in Arizona had not made good. Now in England we should either be below or above that ideal of good. If we were snobs, we should be content to know that he was a gentleman of good connections, perhaps too much accustomed to private means to be expected to be businesslike. If we were somewhat larger-minded people, we should know that he might be as wise as Socrates and as splendid as Bayard, and yet be unfitted. Perhaps one should say, therefore, be unfitted for the dismal and dirty gambling of modern commerce. But whether we were snobbish enough to admire him for being an idler, or chivalrous enough to admire him for being an outlaw, in neither case should we ever really, and in our hearts, despise him for being a failure. For it is this inner verdict of instinctive idealism that is the point at issue. Of course there's nothing new or peculiar to the new world about a man's engagement practically failing through his financial failure. An English girl might easily drop a man because he was poor, or she might stick to him faithfully and defiantly, though he was poor. The point is that this girl was faithful, but she was not defiant. That is, she was not proud. The whole psychology of the situation was that she shared the weird worldly idealism of her family, and it was wounded as her patriotism would have been wounded if he had betrayed his country. To do them justice, there was nothing to show that they would have had any real respect for a royal duke who had inherited millions. What the simple barbarians wanted was a man who could make good. that the process of making good would probably drag him through the mire of everything bad, that he would make good by bluffing, lying, swindling, and grinding the faces of the poor, did not seem to trouble them in the least. Against this fanaticism there is this shadow of truth, even in the fiction of aristocracy, that a gentleman may at least be allowed to be good, without being bothered to make it. Another objection to the phrase about the almighty dollar is that it is an almighty phrase, and therefore an almighty nuisance. I mean that it is made to explain everything, and to explain everything much too well. That is, much too easily. It does not really help people to understand a foreign country, but it gives them the fatal illusion that they do understand it. Dollars stood for America as frogs stood for France, because it was necessary to connect particular foreigners with something, or it would be so easy to confuse a Moor with a Montenegrin, or a Russian with a Red Indian. The only cure for this sort of satisfied familiarity is the shock of something really unfamiliar. When people can see nothing at all in American democracy except a Yankee running after a dollar, then the only thing to do is to trip them up as they run after the Yankee, or run away with their notion of the Yankee, by the obstacle of certain odd and obstinate facts that have no relation to that notion. And as a matter of fact, there are a number of such obstacles to any such generalization, a number of notable facts that have to be reconciled somehow to our previous notions. It does not matter for this purpose whether the facts are favourable or unfavourable, or whether the qualities are merits or defects, especially as we do not even understand them sufficiently to say which they are. The point is that we are brought to a pause and compelled to attempt to understand them rather better than we do. We have found one thing that we did not expect, and therefore the one thing that we cannot explain, and we are moved to an effort, probably an unsuccessful effort, to explain it. The end of section 14, chapter 7, part 2. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. What I Saw in America by G.K. Chesterton. Section 15, Chapter 7, Part 3. The American Businessman. For instance, Americans are very unpunctual. That is the last thing that a critic expects who comes to condemn them for hustling and haggling and vulgar ambition. But it is almost the first fact that strikes the spectator on the spot. The chief difference between the humdrum English businessman and the hustling American businessman is that the hustling American businessman is always late. Of course, there is a great deal of difference between coming late and coming too late. But I noticed the fashion first in connection with my own lectures, touching which I could hardly recommend the habit of coming too late. I could easily understand a crowd of commercial Americans not coming to my lectures at all, but there was something odd about their coming in a crowd, and the crowd being expected to turn up some time after the appointed hour. The managers of these lectures, I continue to call them lectures out of courtesy to myself, often explained to me that it was quite useless to begin properly until about a half an hour after time. Often people were still coming in 3/4 of an hour or even an hour after time. Not that I objected to that, as some lecturers are said to do. It seemed to me an agreeable break in the monotony. But as a characteristic of a people mostly engaged in practical business, it struck me as curious and interesting. I have grown accustomed to being the most unbusinesslike person in any given company, and it gave me a sort of dizzy exultation to find I was not the most unpunctual person in that company. I was afterwards told by many Americans that my impression was quite correct, that American unpunctuality was really very prevalent and extended to much more important things. But at least I was not content to lump this along with all sorts of contrary things that I did not happen to like, and call it America. I am not sure of what it really means, but I rather fancy that Though it may seem the very reverse of the hustling, it has the same origin as the hustling. The American is not punctual because he is not punctilious. He is impulsive, and has an impulse to stay as well as an impulse to go. For after all, punctuality belongs to the same order of ideas as punctuation. And there is no punctuation in telegrams. The order of clocks and set hours which English business has always observed is a good thing in its own way. Indeed, I think that in a larger sense it is better than the other way. It is better because it is a protection against hustling, not a promotion of it. In other words, it is better because it is more civilized, as a great Venetian merchant prince clad in cloth of gold was more civilized, or an English merchant drinking in port in an oak-panelled room was more civilized, or a little French shopkeeper shutting up his shop to play dominoes is more civilized. And the reason is that the American has the romance of business and is monomaniac, while the Frenchman has the romance of life and is sane. But the romance of business really is a romance, and the Americans are really romantic about it. And that romance, though it revolves around pork or petrol, is really like a love affair in this, that it involves not only rushing, but also lingering. The American is too busy to have any business habits. He is also too much in earnest to have any business rules. If we wish to understand him, we must compare him not with the French shopkeeper when he plays dominoes, but with the same French shopkeeper when he works the guns or mans the trenches as a conscript soldier. Everybody used to the punctilious Prussian standard of uniform and parade has noticed the roughness and apparent laxity of the French soldier, the looseness of his clothes, the unsightliness of his heavy knapsack, in short, his inferiority in every detail of the business of war, except fighting. There he is much too swift to be smart. He is much too practical to be precise. By a strange illusion which can lift pork packing almost to the level of patriotism, the American has the same free rhythm in his romance of business. He varies his conduct not to suit the clock, but to suit the case. He gives more time to more important and less time to less important things, and he makes up his timetable as he goes along. Suppose he has 3 appointments. The first, let us say, is some mere trifle of erecting a tower 20 stories high and exhibiting a sky sign on the top of it. The second is a business discussion about the possibilities of printing advertisements of soft drinks on the table napkins at a restaurant. The third is attending a conference to decide how the populace can be prevented from using chewing gum, and the manufacturers can still manage to sell it. He will be content merely to glance at the sky sign as he goes by in a trolley car or an automobile. He will then settle down to the discussion with his partner about the table napkins, each speaker indulging in long monologues in turn, a peculiarity of much American conversation. Now, if in the middle of one of these monologues he suddenly thinks that the vacant space of the waiter's shirt front might also be utilized to advertise the Gee Whiz Ginger Champagne, he will instantly follow up the new idea in all its aspects and possibilities in an even longer monologue, and will never think of looking at his watch while he is rapturously looking at his waiter. The consequence is that he will come late into the great social movement against chewing gum, where an Englishman would probably have arrived at the proper hour. But though the Englishman's conduct is more proper, it need not be in all respects more practical. The Englishman's rules are better for that business of life, but not necessarily for the life of business. And it is true that for many of these Americans, business is the business of life. It is really also, as I have said, the romance of life. We shall admire or deplore this spirit accordingly as we are glad to see trade irradiated with so much poetry, or sorry to see so much poetry wasted on trade. But it does make many people happy, like any other hobby, and one is disposed to add that it does fill their imaginations like any other delusion. For the true criticism of all this commercial romance would involve a criticism of this historic phase of commerce. These people are building on the sand, though it shines like gold, and for them like fairy gold. But the world will remember the legend about fairy gold. Half the financial operations they follow deal with things that do not even exist. For in that sense, all finance is a fairy tale. Many of them are buying and selling things that do nothing but harm, but it does them good to buy and sell them. The claim of the romantic salesman is better justified than he realizes. Business really is romance, for it is not reality. There is one real advantage that America has over England, largely due to its livelier and more impressionable ideal. America does not think that stupidity is practical. It does not think that ideas are merely destructive things. It does not think that a genius is only a person to be told to go away and blow his brains out. Rather, it would open all its machinery to the genius and beg him to blow his brains in. It might attempt to use a natural force like Blake or Shelley for the very ignoble purpose. It would be quite capable of asking Blake to take Tiger and his golden lions round as a sort of Barnum show, or Shelley to hang his stars and haloed clouds among the lights of Broadway. But it would not assume that a natural force is useless any more than that Niagara is useless. And there is a very definite distinction here touching the intelligence of the trader, whatever we may think of either course touching the intelligence of the artist. It is one thing that Apollo should be employed by Admetus, though he is a god. It is quite another thing that Apollo should always be sacked by Admetus, because he is a god. Now in England, largely owing to the accident of a rivalry and therefore a comparison with France, there arose about the end of the 18th century an extraordinary notion that there was some sort of connection between dullness and success. What the Americans call a bonehead became what the English call a hard-headed man. The merchants of London evinced their contempt for the fantastic logicians of Paris by living in a permanent state of terror lest somebody should set the Thames on fire. In this, as in much else, it is much easier to understand the Americans if we connect them with the French, who were their allies, than with the English, who were their enemies. There are a great many Franco-American resemblances, which the practical Anglo-Saxons are, of course, too hard-headed or bone-headed to see. American history is haunted with the shadow of the plebiscitary president. They have a tradition of classical architecture for public buildings. Their cities are planned upon the squares of Paris and not upon the labyrinth of London. They call their cities Corinth and Syracuse, as the French called their citizens Epaminondas and Timoleon. Their soldiers wore the French kepi, and they make coffee admirably and do not make tea at all. But of all the French elements in America, the most French is this real practicality. They know that at certain times the most businesslike of all quality is a French phrase. The publisher may induce the poet to do a pot boiler, but the publisher would cheerfully allow the poet to set the Mississippi on fire if it would boil his particular pot. It is not so much that Englishmen are stupid as that they are afraid of being clever. And it is not so much that Americans are clever as they do not try to be any stupider than they are. The fire of French logic has burnt that out of America as it has burned it out of Europe, and of almost every place except England. This is one of the few points on which English insularity really is a disadvantage. It is the fatal notion that the only sort of common sense is to be found in compromise, and that the only sort of compromise is to be found in confusion. This must be clearly distinguished from the commonplace about the utilitarian world not rising to the invisible values of genius. Under this philosophy, the utilitarian does not see the utility of genius, even when it is quite visible. He does not see it, not because he is a utilitarian, but because he is an idealist whose ideal is dullness. For some time the English aspired to be stupid, prayed and hoped with soaring spiritual ambition to be stupid. But with all their worship of success, they did not succeed in being stupid. The natural talents of a great and traditional nation were always breaking out in spite of them. In spite of the merchants of London, Turner did set the Thames on fire. In spite of our previously explained preference for realism to romance, Europe persisted in resounding with the name of Byron. And just when we had made it perfectly clear to the French that we despised all their flamboyant tricks, that we were a plain, prosaic people, and there was no fantastic glory or chivalry about us, the very shaft we sent against them shone with the name of Nelson, a shooting and a falling star. The end of section 15. The end of chapter 7.